Have to have a 43-inch vertical leap like a professional basketball player to put major stress on your feet. An average adult puts the equivalent of several hundred tons of pressure on their feet every day. So it's understandable that things can go wrong, painfully wrong, with your feet, affecting your knees, legs, hips, and back. They did for me, but no more thanks to the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. My feet, back, and whole body are feeling great. Trust me, you'll feel great as well. Prove it to yourself. Visit the Good Feet store, get a free arch support fitting, take the pair for a walk around the store, around the center. Stop living in pain. Come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto, online at goodfeet.com. Tell them Doug Christie sent you. That's goodfeet.com.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios,
We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
KHTK.
Now that's how you get. I'll let the beat drop. Yeah, I need the cues, Jay. You and I. You know, it's gonna be like riding a bike. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know if I want to go too long, but I didn't know when to come in. But you and I, we'll figure it out. It's like riding a bike. Welcome on in. It is KHTK. It is Zachariah filling in for Nick Cattles here. Welcome on in, Sacramento. Get yourself strapped in. Hopefully you had a fantastic holiday weekend. Lots of things that went down and took place, and now here we are. I think at the forefront of everybody's brain is the NBA Finals, and we're going to be talking about that a ton. And you can follow me on Twitter at ZAK Sports. I shamelessly look for followers, but what a series. Game 7. I think a lot of people thought after Game 5, what a weird series that was between the Celtics and the Heat, where I think everybody thought after Game 5, when the Celtics won in Miami, they were going to go home and close it out. They did not. And then it came to Game 7, went back to Miami, and boy, my goodness gracious, just what a game. I mean, seriously, there's so many elements to this game, and this is probably like my biggest pet peeve in the world. Jay, by the way, can we break the rules and just put up tons of polls, or will I get in trouble?
No, you can rock it as much as you want, man. Polls on polls on polls.
Okay, all right. So this is my it's my main man, Jay. I love this guy. We're the same age. We have the same taste in music, and he's going to allow me to break rules. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. So if I do, Jay, I'm going to blame you. But I would like to put on the poll, are injuries the most annoying thing in sports? Because when everybody's not at 100%, you have no idea who would actually have won the series if they were. And it's just annoying. Like, in video games, actually, I don't know. I'm so old, Jay. I don't know if an injury, do injuries happen in video games? Like I used to do.
Yeah, of course they do, man.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to do franchise mode. Like if you get injured, you're actually out.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can't play for a couple weeks?
Yeah, man. What are you? You must have been one of them cats that put everything on 100 and skip everything and play all stars.
No, I never cut any corners. I was very, very 100% towing the line on that.
But they were doing injuries back in our day. Come on.
Injuries. Yeah, God. I guess the old John Madden, like, he got laid out. Yeah, I guess he was out for the game.
Yeah, it had sometime you got lucky, be out for a quarter, sometime be out for a half, and sometime he's gone for 2-3 weeks.
But, Jay, you could, like, turn injuries off, right?
Yeah, you can turn them off and on, absolutely.
That's probably what I did. Because, I mean, it's stupid. I hate the fact that injuries get played into it. But when you look at Jimmy Buckets, as the kids call him, when you look at his series, and there was reports about knee soreness, and I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million times again, not a doctor, okay? So I don't know what he was dealing with, but I know that he is tough as nails. And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. He's my favorite player. He's my favorite player in the league. Klay Thompson's probably number 2. And I'm neither a Heat nor a Warriors fan. Not that I hate either team, but I'm just talking about in terms of your mental fortitude. The way that Jimmy Buckets operates is the way that I would want anybody on my team to operate. Wins, not losses. And, that's a tough way to go out. And the big talk today, everybody's talking about, and I hate to be typical guy that talks about the thing that everybody's talking about, but it's the pull-up 3 at the end of the game. I don't know how the Celtics, and I'm going to play some sound here in a second from Jason Tatum, people being negative or whatever, and then later in the show we'll talk more about how they allowed it to get to that point. But you're up 13 in the 4th, and I swear to God, I'm gonna play some Marcus Smart sound also. But whatever, we'll get into that a little bit down the line. But that's a tough way to go out, and people are talking about whether or not he should have shot that. Jay, I don't know if you have strong feelings about it. You and I did like some preparation pre-show. I don't know if, to me, I'm riding and I'm dying with Jimmy Butler. 100%. I don't care. You can go into analytics about whether or not he's a good three-point shooter. You can do all that stuff. I don't give a damn. That guy got you there, and I'm okay with him taking that shot to see whether or not he's going to get you even further.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look. He's a borderline superstar, how you see it. I know that's your guy. That's your favorite guy. That's your go-to guy, right? So
he's not my go-to guy. I just love his attitude.
Well, that's your go-to. You just said you want if everyone could play like Jimmy.
Yeah,
you would. So that's your go-to.
Okay, all right.
Go-to guy.
That's fine.
Not as far as at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure there's a couple
Kevin
guys.
Durant.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah,
got you. But your favorite ball player, as you said, is Jimmy Butler. That's your guy that you want for the Miami Heat to take the shot. I would imagine. I would say this as someone who's a little more old school. In hindsight, take it to the rack. I'm the guy that always say go to the cup. Take it to the steal, tap glass, dunk on somebody, go hard, see what happens. You had Al Horford on the skates. Jimmy is swift. He's good about manipulating, space and opportunity. But I'll say this. If he hits that shot, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Well, common sense, they take the lead, but it's a different
question it. Yeah, nobody's going to question it. And I am old school in terms of that, and nobody's better than Jimmy Butler in terms of getting and ones and going to the cup and scoring. I mean, he's not a three-point shooter, and there's a lot of people that have alluded to the fact that he perhaps took that 3 because he was gassed and he was injured and he didn't want to go into overtime. And so he wanted to end it there. He wanted to either have it go so that they won or that they lost. And I don't know how much credence goes into that, Jay, but I'm telling you, that's what people said, that he knew he had nothing in the tank for overtime.
Disagree. It was a knockout punch. They had him on the ropes. Jimmy was going for the knockout punch. He was going for the Gervonta Davis, the left hook.
Yeah.
He was trying to put him down, and that was it. Now, normally I would imagine he would go to the cup, but again, in hindsight, we're all going to question the shot. The fact of the matter is he was wide open. That's what happens in the NBA now. We always see people pull up at the three-point line. It could be 4-on-1, and they pass, and they're pulling up at the three-point line. So let's not question him because it's the conference finals and everything's on the line.
No, the questioning is, like, if it was Steph, nobody would question it. So the questioning is is because he's not known as a three-point shooter. And, you know, they say on ESPN it's a make or miss league, right? And I'm totally 100% fine with it. And we're going to be joined by Jorge Sedano at 3:30, and we'll ask him about it. I'm pretty sure he was there. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he was there. And we'll ask him what he thought about it. But, you know, for me, that guy is the guy that willed you there. And we'll play sound from him later, which makes me like him even more. But guys like that, that's the type of stuff. And Sacramento, if you're listening, that's the type of guy you want on your roster. That's the type of guy that wins and only cares about winning and doesn't do all the minutia and all the stuff about, being a celebrity and your brand and all that. Jimmy Butler doesn't give a damn about any of that. Now, he was in a commercial. I don't know what it was for, Jay. I don't know. Maybe you can help me out on that. He was on a plane. I think it was for a beer, actually. Might have been a cerveza. But so he does, obviously he's taking advantage of who he is, but in terms of what he cares about, there is nobody in the league, and it's why he's my favorite player, that you can tell only gives a damn about winning. Winning is the only thing, anything that you do in life. I don't care what you do. If you're an accountant, if you're a salesman, if you're a forklift driver, win. Be the most successful that you can be. And Jimmy Butler, that's all he cares about. So I was totally fine with the shot selection. And, again, analytic people and people that break it down will tell you that maybe it wasn't the best based on him not being a three-point savant like Steph is. Again, if Steph takes that same shot, nobody's questioning it. Not a soul. But here we are. Let's go to Tatum, because to the riches or to the spoils go to the riches go the spoiler, or what's the phrase? To the victor goes the spoils. Let's hear from Jason Tatum after the game.
We need to split the group up and get rid of, somebody, or me and JB can't play together. Fueled us to figure it out and, not run from it.
Yeah. And there were a lot of people. Keep in mind, this team was under 500 halfway through the season. And people were talking about breaking up Brown and Tatum. Shout out to Brown, by the way. Go Bears. He's a Cal Bear. They were talking about breaking them up. And now look where they're at. They're in the finals. So that just goes to tell you. And yes, I was right about the Jimmy Butler commercial. It is a Michelob Ultra commercial. And they should send us a check for giving him a shout out. But yeah, but Jimmy Butler in general is not like that. He's not dating Kardashians. He's not, on TMZ or whatever. That's just not how he rolls. He's all about winning. And,
allegedly.
Allegedly what?
He's not dating a Kardashian.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he could be. Yeah, for all I know. Well, at least publicly, we don't know that he is. Devin Booker is, and they were the number 1 seed, and they lost, and I may or may not be a Suns fan, so that may or may not cut me deeply. But the point is, that guy is all about winning. And for Tatum and the Celtics, I think they were ultimately the better team. And I think the fact that it went 7 games and the fact that they went from being down 13 in the fourth to Jimmy Butler even having that opportunity to take the lead tells you everything that you need to know about Jimmy Butler. And, the code word is culture, and people talk about the Heat culture all the time. But Jimmy Butler, just completely identifies with that. And, it was a great series. I don't think it went the way people thought it was going to go. I think people thought it was going to be over, game 6 in Boston. And that's something that I will touch on in a little bit in terms of, the fact that they got to the point where they allowed it to even come down to whether or not we're having this discussion about Jimmy Butler is going to be perhaps problematic. And we'll talk about experience and all that stuff. But, I just, when I watched that series and I came away from Game 7, my biggest takeaway was just simply that the Heat willed themselves into that situation, and they got to a point where they could have won that game. And if he hits that shot, we're having a completely different conversation. 100%. We're not doubting. We're not talking about analytics and how good of a three-point shooter Jimmy Butler is. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Heat being in the finals and how it was a gutsy performance. And, he scored 80 points in the last two games? Games 6 and 7? I think something like that. I think he averaged 40 over the last two games. So he's the reason why they got there. And, that's that's a bow on it, and we'll talk about it in the next segment. We'll talk about which team would have been a better direction for them to go in. You're listening to Zachariah filling in for the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK.
The Nick Cattle Show. Nobody's giving you more coverage of the 2022 NBA Draft than Sports 1140 KHTK.
Tempting thing for the Kings is they've just traded a really good guard. They've got two excellent young guards in Fox and Mitchell. So that's the dilemma. But as I look at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, honestly don't think anybody's close to Jaden Ivey.
KHTK's 2022 NBA Draft coverage is brought to you by
Power Business Technology. Visit them online at powercopiers.com.
Hey everybody, it's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my friend Shelby and refinance with Shelby.com. Everybody, in fact, over at United Wholesale Lending. Now, Shelby and his team, they're the lender to use for purchases. I've been telling you that forever. Real estate agents, work with them because they're streamlined, they close fast, and they're local. Now, listen, you've been through this if you've been looking for a house. It's almost impossible to get your offer accepted in this market. You need to have the right mortgage company as the right offer and the right financing can get your offer accepted. Most bad experiences with lenders stem from poor service and communication, and that happens when a lender just doesn't care. However, Shelby lives in our community. He has a reputation to uphold. There is no one more well-versed or better suited to fill your specific needs, and that's why I went with him. Refinance with Shelby.com. NMLS number 279051, BRE number 01864354. Refinance with Shelby.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join KHTK's IMAX Pass by visiting KHTK.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see Top Gun Maverick at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
It's the Nick Cattle Show.
This, I think, speaks to the power of the media and the power of
the Nick Cattle Show
on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Let's go. Let's go, Sacramento. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. It's 3/17. You know what time that is. Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And we are, of course, brought to you by Power Business Technology. Check them out online at powerbusinesscopiers.com. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show right here on KHTK. Talking about the finals, obviously, that's at the forefront of, I'm assuming, most people's brains. And I think if you're a Warriors fan, I don't know, maybe we could put this on the poll. Did we even put my first thing on the poll? I already forgot what it was. I want to do so many polls, Jay.
Yeah, we got the crack staff on that poll.
Okay, all right. And by that, you mean it's just me and you in here. But yeah, I would like to put on the poll, if you're a Warriors fan, who were you rooting for in Game 7? Heat or Celtics? Because I think most people were rooting for the Heat. Banged up, and I touched on the injuries and how that can affect a series and how it annoys me very much so. Because you don't want that to ever determine what you're going to, what the outcome is. You want everybody to be at full strength, in my opinion. But if you want to weigh in, if you're a Dubs fan out there, I know it's Sacramento, tons of Kings fans out there, and believe me, the culture stuff, need to pay attention to that. If you look at the futility, if you will, of the Sacramento Kings in the past however many years of the record that they set for not making the playoffs, a lot of that has to do with culture. There's not a lot of Jimmy Butlers on that roster. that will just refuse to lose. But if you are a Dubs fan, who were you rooting for? 916-339-1140. You can either text in or call in. Again, 916-339-1140 is where you can call or text in, and you can hit me up on Twitter at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. But, I mean, yeah, you know what it is, and it sounds barbaric and old school, and I know we're in 2022, and everybody's supposed to be not using old school phrases, but Jimmy Butler has that dog in him. He's got that dog in him. And he carried what I think most people would agree is a very less talented roster with the Miami Heat and dealing with the injuries and, you know, Tyler Hero, all that stuff. Took him to 7 games. And that was all will. Like I said, 80 points over his last 2 games. Averaged 40. And he's not even a big scorer. This is a guy in the regular season, like 0 40-point games. And in the postseason, he's got like 10. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, to me, that was a really big deal. And I think, again, if you're a Warriors fan, I think you were rooting for the Heat because I think you would think that you have a better chance of beating them. And the Celtics are coming. But the Celtics also, man, did they leave the window? I mean, we keep talking about that shot, Jay. We're talking about that shot. If he hits that shot, talking about something totally different. And the Celtics had no business, first of all, losing Game 6 in Boston. And then second of all, even getting to the point, being up 13 in the fourth, to even have it to be a conversation that if Butler hits that 3, they might lose that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you, looking from the outside looking in, you would have thought that once the series went back to Boston, they had Game 6 to close it out. It was 100%, a wrap, right?
Yep.
It was done. It was a Christmas gift.
Yep.
So to even allow, and Jimmy B, as you said, Jimmy B absolutely willed the Miami Heat through Game 6 with 46 points. But to see Game 7, had them on the ropes at the end. Jimmy pulled up for the 3. It was a little short. Maybe didn't have it in the legs. Could have went to the cup against Al Horford. I'll say this. I think as a Warriors fan, and I'm putting myself as a Warriors fan right now.
Okay.
You know, I'm transporting into a Warriors fan.
Yeah.
I would say, of course, I'm rooting for Miami because I think they have less scores. But I also say this, and this is the thing about it as a Warriors fan, I would say to myself is, you have to come see me at the Chase Center. So now you got to come to San Francisco. All the way from Boston, all the way from Miami, East Coast, West Coast swing. And then on top of that, the one thing Boston, and this is the one thing Miami has done, is they've taken the necessary steps. They were just in the finals a couple of years ago. They're battle tested. They have a couple guys who've been there. Spoelstra, Pat, you know, of course, the legend, the mafioso man himself of the Miami Heat, Pat Riley. And Boston, I think, is learning to get to that point, right? And so the fact of the matter is, yeah, they've been to the playoffs a couple times, but I think you always have to take the necessary steps. You don't normally see teams jump from a first or a second round straight to the championship. They normally have to take the necessary steps.
Yep.
And I think this may be Boston because we all think they're 1 year, 2 years ahead of where they're supposed to be, right? Schedule?
No, Jay.
You had Boston there. After even going into Christmas.
Look, like I said, they were under 500, and people were talking about splitting Tatum and Brown up. So I think, if anything, people look at this like they should have been there a couple years ago. And they've been to the conference finals how many times without finally crossing that threshold. So no, I don't think this is a scenario where you've got to, crawl before you walk.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is look, do I think that the experience is going to help the Warriors a ton? And the fact that they've been there and they have a good combination between youngsters and veterans, absolutely. But in terms of tell somebody on Boston radio, Jay, that this is a thing where they got to here, but then they need to get there or whatever. No, they've been thinking that Tatum and Brown should have been here years ago. Well, I mean, I don't know about years ago, but at least a couple years ago.
Because they've been to the conference finals a couple times.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right.
Well, and 100% that they were talking about breaking up the duo because they didn't think that they could get it done together.
Well, they got smoked by Miami 4-2 a couple seasons ago, right?
Yep.
Brooklyn jumped on their back last year.
Yep.
But, I mean, I guess they're battle tested to an extent. Al Horford coming over. Robert Williams is young. Marcus Smart hasn't always been on his P's and Q's. Tatum has kind of taken the necessary steps. I get what you're saying. I do think they might have been a year early. I guess me. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And as you said, as a Warriors fan, I'm looking as a Warriors fan.
Boston market, I'm telling you right now. Oh, Boston market, that's actually like a store. That's another, we should get a check for that too. Michelob Ultra and Boston Market, but I didn't even mean to say it like that. I meant the Boston Market, like the radio market. I'm telling you, they were expecting this a couple years ago, and so for them to get there now, it's not like one of those scenarios where it's like, oh, we're here all of a sudden. I assure you,
the first round last year, though.
Okay, all right.
But I get you. I got you.
We'll talk to Jorge Sedano. I wonder if he likes that or George Sedano, because I've heard him called both. But we'll talk to him. He covers the NBA fantastically. I'm pretty sure he was at the game. We'll talk to him. I also want to get to some sound when it comes to Marcus Smart and, kind of joking around and saying things, keep it interesting, blah, 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 blah. I think that they can't play around with the Warriors like they did with the Heat. The Heat didn't play around mentality-wise, but the Warriors have too much talent for that stuff to go down. You're listening to Zachariah filling in right here, KHTK on the Nick Cattle Show.
Nick Cattle Show.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Sleep First.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRV 3 Weather Center. The final day of May is here. Plan for afternoon sunshine and a breeze, and highs today in the upper 80s. You can get the latest forecast on the KCRV 3 News and the KCRV 3 app.
Memorial Day is the best time to shop local and save big. Visit Sleep First to compare top names in sleep like Nectar, Purple, and Tempur. Save up to $500 and get a $300 Amazon.com gift card with any Tempur-Pedic mattress. Payment plans for everyone at Sleep First.
Jeff Dunham, seriously.
I'm not crazy. Oh, what's wrong, Jeff? Did your imaginary friends not want to hang out with you today? I don't have imaginary friends. Of course not. No, we're real. It's like a trunk full of Pinocchios. We want to be real boys, Jeff.
Friday, June 10th, Thunder Valley Outdoor Amphitheater. For the summer concert schedule and to purchase tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss them.
I kill you!
Jeff Dunham, seriously.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I want to talk to you about my friends at American Energy. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out the half-off AC offer. Are you ready for the heat? Get half off your air conditioner purchase and installation of a full system, plus receive a free indoor air quality upgrade. Take advantage. 520-9990. That's 916-520-9990, or visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. That's AmericanEnergyAir.com, and tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Suffering from ED? Pacific Men's Clinic can help with the newest available proven treatment using acoustic energy waves. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 916-545-7577. 916-545-7577. The Folsom Pro Rodeo is back to celebrate over 60 years of patriotic family fun this July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Make it a family summer tradition with spectacular nightly fireworks, flying cowboys motocross, favorite fair food, and our American flag skydiver. Check out all the details and purchase tickets conveniently online at FolsomProRodeo.com. Presented by Folsom Chamber of Commerce, Coors, Folsom Chevy, and Pacific Coast Iron.
In the next 30 seconds, 40 couples will be in baby mode. And as they're thinking about tiny shoes, shape-shifting strollers, and where to find the best schools for their kid, they'll realize,
we gotta sell the house and fix it and stage it and show it.
Or they can skip the hassles and sell directly to Open Door and close in a matter of days. get back to the things that matter, like tiny baby shoes. Get your competitive offer at opendoor.com/offer. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Inc. License 02061130 in California and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets.
Here are the top 3 reasons to get your golf clubs fitted at Hagen Oaks. First, the most knowledgeable professional fitting team in the country has been trained by every major club manufacturer. Second, Hagen Oaks has the largest inventory of golf merchandise in the area, and the club demo program is unmatched. Third, the indoor to outdoor player performance studio gives you incredibly accurate data, and you can see your ball flight. Add a 90-day club fitting guarantee, and that's more than 3 reasons. Fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Welcome on back, Sacramento. It is Zachariah filling in for the Nick Cattle Show right here on KHTK. And we're going to get a ton into the finals. Obviously, that's at the forefront of everybody's brain. And we're going to break it on down. I got some stuff I'm going to ask my next guest and thank him profusely for joining me. I bothered him so much that he probably hates me, but that's okay. I mean, you got to be persistent in this business. He is the one and only. Is it Jorge Sedano, or do you like George? I know you've been called by both.
George works, and you're no bother. I just obviously have a really busy time right now.
No, I know it's finals time. And were you in Miami for Game 7?
No, I was covering the Warriors series.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So, what did you make of that series? Because I think a lot of people thought it was over when they won in Miami in Game 5 and then went back to, people thought that it was going to end in Boston in Game 6. Were you surprised that it got to 7? Is that a testimony to, I know you're a Miami guy because I'm a huge Dan Le Batard fan, so is that a testimony to Heat culture? What did you make of that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they have 8 undrafted guys on the roster, making big contributions throughout the season. And, Jimmy Butler has been a guy who's kind of been overlooked as a superstar in this sport. And I think that people thought maybe the bubble was a bit fraudulent. I personally think that last season, not the title or whatever, but if you're going to put an asterisk next to an entire season, less so the bubble to me, because that was basketball and purely basketball, more so last season because we had so many injuries and COVID-related injuries that I think it really caused havoc in the postseason. But ultimately, when it comes to the Heat, I thought they played great. Yeah, and Jimmy Butler just kind of proved the naysayers that he is a superstar, whether you like it or not. He just doesn't do it in a flashy way.
So I saw you on Around the Horn. Unfortunately, I was preparing for the show, so I couldn't listen to you, but I was watching you on ESPN, obviously ESPN Radio, at Sedano, by the way, on Twitter, Sedano. Do you make anything of the choice of Butler taking that 3-point shot? Because that's what everybody's talking about. And I feel like that's the guy that got you there. That's the guy that could either win or lose the game for you or whatever. There's some rumors that maybe he took it because he didn't want to go to overtime because he was gassed and injured. What did you make of him taking that 3-point shot?
I got no problem with it. He dragged them that far. He clearly was playing on one leg. You could see in games 4 and 5, he had no lift whatsoever. He was able to tough it out and get them to that point. You know what? Zero issue with it. He's earned that.
Yeah, and honestly, when you make that, when you make that shot, everybody would be saying something different if he had made it. We'd be having a totally different conversation. We'd be talking about how, ballsy he was and got you to the spot and all that good stuff, So it's like hindsight's always 20/20, but like how often in the length of time that you've been covering the NBA, how often do you see something get second guessed, but if it goes the other way, then, it gets praised?
Oh, it happens all the time. I was fairly impressed, though, that most people that cover the league, I think, former players and analysts and reporters alike, all felt the same way. Dude's exhausted, man. No issue with him taking that shot. You win, because here's the thing. He's a really smart player. He did the math in his head. I'm on one leg. My team is broken as well. It's not like I'm the only guy that's injured here. They're potentially the better team already, and they're healthier than us. If we get into an overtime, it may not go well for us. So I might as well try to win it here.
Oh, okay, George. So you do put some stock into that. He might have been doing that because he didn't want to see an overtime.
Well, I don't think it's not that he didn't want to. I think his actions show you that he thought it was the better play, like the calculations in his head were better to try to finish it there than try to go through another 5 minutes.
Yeah, no,
He had played 48 at that point, or at that point, 47 in 50 seconds or whatever it was. He had played to that point.
He literally didn't sit out a minute, right?
He didn't sit down at all.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I thought maybe like a minute, like end of the quarter or something.
Nope.
So we're up here in the nation's not the nation's capital, the state's capital, Sacramento, and there's a lot of Warriors fans around here, obviously. And so I'm wondering. I put it on the poll as because again, I listen to Le Batard. That's how I know you well. And I was if you're a Warriors fan, in terms of matchups, you looking at it from that standpoint, Warriors fans were rooting for the Heat, correct?
I guess. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. Like, I don't have an answer for that. I'm guessing based just on injuries alone, right? Like, you'd want to play the lesser opponent when it comes to that in that regard because Boston was healthier. I think Boston was also banged up, don't get me wrong, but the Heat were clearly in much worse shape when it came to injuries. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, let me rephrase it. Going into it, who would you think has the better chance of beating the Warriors in the finals? Let's pretend like Game 7 hasn't been played. Which of the two teams do you think has a better chance of beating the Warriors in the finals?
I don't honestly, I don't have an answer for that. Like, if you're telling me both teams are completely healthy, I think that if any of the three outcomes, right? Like if it was Warriors who won against Boston, or Warriors who beat Miami, or Miami that beat the Warriors, or the Celtics that beat the Warriors, I know that it's not probably what you want to hear, but I really don't feel like there is a right answer there. I think that any of those teams can beat each other. As great as the Warriors have been, I think they're beatable. I think they're going to win this series, but I think they're beatable. Like, so I think Boston can win the series, and I think Miami, if they were healthy, could have won the series too, sure.
No, it's fine. We don't have to do like a first take. You don't have to have like a hard stance on it, but I'm pretty confident that most Warriors fans were rooting for the Heat in that scenario because I think with Tatum and Brown, they pose a bigger threat to them. And, obviously I know you're kind of an analytic guy. It's why I like you. You're like in between, which is what everybody should be if we're talking like political stuff, but we don't have to get into that. But I know that you do look at analytics, and the analytics will tell you that the Celtics are number one in defensive efficiency and the Warriors are number two. But the difference between the Heat and the Celtics is that the Celtics have Brown and Tatum. And so if they're that good defensively and they also have the offensive options that I don't think the Heat have, I think ultimately the Celtics have a good shot. Now Vegas will tell you that the Warriors are the favorites. How do you view it? Do you think it's gonna be a long series? I mean, a lot of people are thinking like Warriors in 5. Like, how are you looking at the series?
I think it goes the distance. I'm going to pick Warriors in 7. I think Marcus Smart has done a really good job.
Wait, is that breaking news? Am I getting breaking news from George Sedano? Did you officially make your pick?
I have. You know what? I sent it in. I don't know if it's on ESPN.com or not.
Okay.
But I will say this. I mean, just doubling back on Miami really quick. Miami had the best 3-point shooting in the league this season, so they have been pretty poor in the playoffs. Eventually, that was going to come and rise to the mean. So I do think that, and look, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are great, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown almost lost to a broken Miami Heat team. So it's why I think that if I had to make a pick, and I did, I made the Warriors, but I think the Warriors also have some, I guess, players on the roster who just don't have enough experience that while they played great against, the Dallas Mavericks, I think this Celtics team is certainly more experience, even though they haven't been to a finals, having deep runs in the playoffs, than some of those guys on the Warriors that are playing some of the roles, like a Jordan Poole who's been fantastic. I love the kid. I think he's great. I think he's a third splash brother. I think Kevon Looney's been fantastic for them, and I know he was around before, but I just think that styles make fights, and I think Boston matches up really well against the Warriors, but I still think the Warriors ultimately overcome it just based on experience.
Well, this is why you're a pro, because you led me into my next question. 123 NBA Finals experience for the Warriors roster and an absolute 0 for the Celtics. How much do you, I know you just touched on it, but how much do you put into that in terms of what the outcome's going to be?
Oh, I think it matters. It's kind of like my deciding factor. I don't think it's the most overwhelming factor. Obviously, talent matters most, but I think the Warriors have equal talent. I would say that this series is going to come down to, and this is going to sound really elementary, but it's going to come down to who can score on tough, with tough shot making, basically. And when I look at the Celtics versus the Warriors in that scenario, when you're talking about a tightly contested defensive possession, I'd take my chances with Stephen Clay and Jordan Poole, even to some extent, making those big shots, even more so than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown at this stage.
Hey, well, look, George, I really appreciate the time. On Twitter, at Sedano, Sedano. And, yeah, check him out. He's going to go on the air. He was kind enough to join me 20 minutes before his show down there, ESPN Los Angeles. I really appreciate it, man. Enjoy the finals.
You got it, bud. Take care.
There you go. George Sedano, everybody. Great dude. Helped me out, Had to call him, holiday weekend. Had to blow his lineup, you know what I mean? Be like, please join me. Please join me. Anyways, 916-339-1140. I want to react to what he had to say. I also want to get into this whole experience thing between the Celtics and the Warriors, how much that's going to have an effect when it comes to the finals. It's Zachariah filling in for the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK.
Anyone here have an allergy? Resigned to admiring spring blooms through watery eyes? Trading the smells of summer for stacks of tissues? We'll take that as a yes. Sunrise Natural Foods has the remedies you need to beat allergy season. Sunrise Natural Foods can help you overcome sinus problems and headaches. Sunrise Natural Foods will help you take back the spring and enjoy the season. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients. In Auburn, Roseville, and at sunrisenaturalfoods.net.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Terry Crews, and that is the sweet, sweet sound of a live audience. That's right. AGT is back with the electricity of a big crowd, with the most incredible acts yet. Plus, your favorite judges, Simon, Howie, Heidi, and Sophia. And $1 million up for grabs with a live audience.
AGT is back, followed by the premiere of Dancing with Myself, tonight on NBC.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Coastside Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back. Call Coastside Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
Live and local.
Upfront and opinionated.
It's the Nick Cattle Show right here on the King of Sacramento Sports Talk. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Welcome back to the program. I am filling in for the Nick Cattle Show. Probably not the voice that you're used to. I am Zachariah on Twitter, as I will shamelessly plug probably more times than I'm supposed to. You know, we have these reads just to pull the curtain back a little bit. You got to read these reads for sponsors and, you know, all that good stuff. So you're supposed to do it like once an hour. I'm going to tell you my Twitter handle more than once an hour. I'm at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. I'm with my guy Jay, and, you know, we were talking just about our similar experiences. We have some similar interests. He's a hip-hop dude. I'm hoping and assuming that he likes Tupac more than Biggie.
Of course.
Is that
From the West
correct?
Coast, man.
Okay, all right. Well,
I was against the grain if you're not.
Hey, I had to check, but I watched the Notorious series just to go, and we'll get into the Celtics and the Warriors here in a second. But I watched the Notorious B.I.G. It wasn't a movie because I know with Tupac and Biggie, they did movies and they did documentaries. This was more of like a documentary. So Faith Hill was in it, Puffy was in it, Nas was in it, his mom was in it. But I didn't know how blatantly obvious. And this is where I need. So when I was in 95.7, Jay, we had a button, we had a drop where you would drop allegedly.
Yep.
Because I tend to get myself into trouble.
Allegedly, brother.
Yeah, allegedly. So this is all on the forefront, allegedly.
Yes.
But it is so blatantly obvious. Can you say allegedly and then say something was blatantly obvious?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We're covering all aspects
Okay.
here.
All right. So allegedly, it's blatantly obvious what happened to Biggie in L.A. when he got killed. I mean, have you Wikipedia'd it or anything? Have you seen the documentary that I'm talking about?
I've seen many documentaries. Which one you speaking about? I've seen documentaries. I've seen a couple stories, read a few books.
It's called B.I.G. The History of the Notorious or something like that. And it's not a movie.
Yeah, it's
like real people talk. Yeah.
Yeah, docu.
But it's so obvious how he got killed. And I can't believe those people. I mean, Suge found his way into prison anyway. But Suge got him killed. And they know who did it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Sorry. Yeah. Do I have to say it every time?
Well, no, I'm just covering your back, brother. I got your back here. You don't have to. We have to say it. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Allegedly, it's very obvious, though.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
The tough part about it is, and if he just, well, not he, meaning Biggie would have turned 50, not this past weekend, but the weekend prior.
Really?
So happy birthday. 50th.
Really?
Big 50th.
Shout out. Wow.
Shouts out to Big.
Yeah.
He was told many times, don't go to California.
I know.
Don't go.
Yeah,
don't come to California.
They cover that in the doc.
Yeah, don't come to California. He was a little hard-headed about the situation. And
I don't think he was hard. You know, actually, what I took away from that the most, because I am Tupac 100%. I got a poster of Tupac on my wall. I am all Tupac.
Still?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, boy.
I don't give a damn. I mean, I took down a lot of stuff as I got older, but that ain't going nowhere. So I'm Tupac 100%. I have Tupac clothing. But what I took away from that is how much nicer Biggie was about that whole thing than Tupac was. He didn't want to get into it.
No, he didn't.
Tupac made Hit 'Em Up.
Yeah.
Biggie never made a diss track.
Yeah.
And Pac said that Who Shot You was about, but it wasn't even about Pac.
Right.
And Biggie handled it. He didn't want any negativity around him, which makes his passing so much worse. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact of the matter is it's on record that they were friends for a while.
Yeah.
They were friends prior to
he
the
thought
West
that
Coast
he got him
situation.
set up.
And he did. And the thing about Tupac, from all accounts, from reading and listening and docus and just so many different aspects and pieces of sound and people that we've talked to, and the Charles Manns, former managers, guys like that, when he had the issue up in New York, that he was scorned. He was a guy that was scorned, and he took it out. And once he jumped out of incarceration, he let it go. And Suge and Death Row, they let him go, and he was like a rabid Wolverine. He jumped off the chain very quick.
Yeah,
and they utilized that. And at the end, when you listen to
monetize it, you say utilize, monetize
it, right?
For sure.
And Pac's mother had to go back and fight. His estate had to go back and fight for them, as you say, the money, and was awarded a big lump sum. I believe it was 50 some odd million plus all kind of different royalties and things like that. But he, at the end of his life, seemed to understand that he was being used and monetized, through Death Row, and that he might have went a little too far.
Well, yeah, because Suge was the instigator. Suge was the gangster. Pac, my favorite clip of Pac, and I promise you, I'll get back to the finals in a second, but my favorite clip about Pac is when he talks about school. And he's like, this math, when am I gonna use this math? Why don't you teach us a lesson about telling me how to manage my checkbook, or like telling me how to fix the toilet when it's broken? Pac was a lover, not a fighter. But Suge turned him into a fighter and knew that he could be the voice of being the fighter, and that went a long way in terms of what went down with that. But can we put that on the poll? Who do you like, Pac or Biggie?
No, that's starting a war right now.
Okay, all right.
We can put it out there, but let me tell you, you might start
your mentions. Yeah,
look, I'll let you put that on your
I'll do
own
it.
Twitter.
Okay, all right. You're not trying to get the station caught down with it. That's fine. But back to the finals, and we'll cover this whole Max Strus. What's hilarious is that I have a friend named Matt Strauss, and he basically looks exactly like Max Strus. And I texted him, and he's like, yeah, people have been telling me about that all year. But the whole thing with whether or not it was a 3 and the replay and taking it back, we'll cover that at the top of the hour. Again, if you want to join either via text or the phone line, 916-339-1140. But let me go to Marcus Smart, because I have some thoughts on that. Let's hear from Marcus Smart and just how good it felt getting to the finals.
To be able to get over that hump and have a chance to, make it to the NBA Finals. This is every athlete's dream, is to get to that final stage and have an opportunity. And, I've been here 4 years in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I've been sent home every year after, so it feels really good.
I love Marcus Smart, okay? Defensive Player of the Year. Again, one of those guys. He's not up there with Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson on my favorite list, but, he's close. He's probably top 10. I like rugged guys like that are not about their brand or worrying about whatever, flashy. I like hard-nosed guys like Marcus Smart. But I swear to God, watching that Game 7, Jay, I thought he was throwing the game.
What?
I legitimately thought he was throwing the game.
No, come on now.
Go ahead and look at the play-by-play for the end of that game. It's Marcus Smart. See, I did Boston on accident. No offense to any Bostonians out there that are listening. Marcus Smart, missed shot. Marcus Smart, missed shot. Marcus Smart, missed shot. Marcus Smart, turnover. And then here's the reason why I thought that he was literally fixing the game, Jay. And I know that, again, allegedly thank you. That's why I need the drop. Allegedly, I know he probably was not. I think that he wants to win. That's why I said he's one of my favorite players up there with Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson. I know he wanted to win that game. But the part that killed me, Jay, is that he let the ball roll. So to all of you people that don't know the NBA well, the clock doesn't start until a player touches the ball. Marcus Smart let it roll like they were losing. Teams that do that, it's because they're losing and they want more time on the clock. He did it and they were winning. What the hell are you doing? Not trying to... Well, look, if you're a fan of any team, when your team's winning, all you're hoping for is for the clock to expire. That's it. You spend the whole game just sitting there hoping and praying that the clock expires. And he let the ball roll to extend the clock. Now, if you're not fixing it, allegedly, I know he wasn't, but that's got to be something that I can't imagine. Not that junior college legend, you know what I mean? But
is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Contra Costa College. Shout
CCC?
out to, yeah.
Oh, Willie McGee action?
Yeah. Shout out to the Comets out there. You know what I'm saying? Master P famously almost played basketball there. The point is, I would have never made that mistake. And I'm going back to high school, middle school, elementary school. You can't make that mistake. letting the clock extend when you're winning, to me, when you get to that point, when you're that, I mean, I guess maybe you're caught up in the moment. Sometimes people do dumb stuff when they're in pressure situations. But I looked at that and I was like, man, that's crazy, you know. But they got the win. It doesn't matter. They're happy as hell, obviously. And, you know, we'll see what happens with the Warriors. But I'll touch on this before we go to the break. Jaylen Brown talking about making it interesting.
That's what we do. We did all of that on purpose to make it interesting, you know. So, nah, I'm just kidding. But, you know, that's us. We've been responding all year, all season to adversity. Today was the biggest test, not just, you know, of the year, but, you know, of our careers to mentally come into a Game 7 away after losing on our home court, which was tough, and we got it done.
I'm glad that he said that he was kidding because, honestly, that's not going to be funny against the Warriors. And I asked George Sedano about that in terms of 123 NBA experience games for the Warriors and 0 for the Celtics. But this is what we do to make it fun. Don't make it close like that because I promise you, you're going to regret it. It's not a scenario where you're playing the Heat, who doesn't necessarily have the offensive firepower or the experience that the Warriors do. So you can make it cute. You won Game 7, but don't bring that same energy against the Warriors, especially you're going to be on the road. And we'll talk about that in terms of whether or not them going to Miami and then back to Boston and then to Golden State. I think that thing is completely overblown. But a lot of people will tell you differently. 916-339-1140. Again, 916-339-1140. It's Zachariah filling in right here. KHTK on the Nick Cattle Show.
Nick Cattle Show.
Now, local businesses can get closer to every customer in their city with fast, affordable shipping. Introducing USPS Connect Local. You want speed? We deliver same or next day. You want savings? We give you supplies at a flat rate. You want less legwork? We do free pickups. Move your local business forward with the United States Postal Service. Let's connect at USPSConnect.com/local. Specific markets, restrictions apply. Same day or next day delivery expected, but not guaranteed with entry close to final destination.
Hi, Doug Christie here for the Good Feet Store. You don't have to have a 43-inch vertical leap like a professional basketball player to put major stress on your feet. An average adult puts the equivalent of several hundred tons of pressure on their feet every day. So it's understandable that things can go wrong, painfully wrong, with your feet, affecting your knees, legs, hips, and back. They did for me, but no more thanks to the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. My feet, back, and whole body are feeling great. Trust me, you'll feel great as well. Prove it to yourself. Visit the Good Feet store. Get a free arch support fitting. Take the pair for a walk around the store, around the center. Stop living in pain. Come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto. Online at goodfeet.com. Tell them Doug Christie sent you. That's goodfeet.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right, but many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The flagship.
Ball game, Sacramento wins.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sports 1140, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings.
Woo! Did you just go Drew down on me, Jay?
Yeah, man, it's regime on mine over here.
I don't know what percentage of the people listening right now know what this is, but can you feel me?
What I gotta do, staying true to the crew.
Oh, yeah, Drew down, baby. Welcome on back, KHTK. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Kittle Show. We have a fun couple of, hour and a half-ish. You know, we got the A's, so there's always that hard out, you know, but we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about the finals, obviously. Celtics, Warriors. I think it's going to be a much more intriguing matchup than most people think. I think because, and you can call in at any time or text in 916-339-1140, and you can hit me up on Twitter at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. We'll get to some sound here because I kind of want to talk about this whole review thing. I don't know if anybody understands what's going on with that. So we'll hear from Eric Spoelstra. But, you know, in general, when it comes to the matchup, I think Warriors fans, and maybe this is just because I'm on text threads where Warriors fans feel very confident and think that this is going to be easy. But Vegas would tell you different. I thought the odds when they came out in Vegas were going to be a lot different, Jay. I thought the Warriors were going to be heavy favorites. I think it's only about plus $1.40 and maybe minus $1.30 or something. It's not the heavy favorite that you think it is. And I was surprised because obviously Steph, Dre, and Clay all have 3 rings. If it wasn't for Clay getting hurt and Kevin Durant getting hurt, they would probably have 4. If it wasn't for Draymond kicking LeBron in the neither region, they might have 4. So I thought that Vegas was going to come out and make the Warriors heavy favorites. What do you got for me, Jay?
Yeah, they're giving up 160. So
okay,
the Boston is a plus 135.
Okay,
giving up 160 to Warriors, which means you got to lay 100. I mean, you're giving up 160 if you lay 100. So,
yeah,
I get you, man.
I thought it was going to be more like 220, 250 something. I thought it was going to be a heavy favorite.
DraftKings got it at 150, covers FanDuel 160 just to be on the safe side.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
right. They should send us a check too. We just gave them a free promotion.
I'm trying to tell you, brother. We clocking dollars on this show and only
that's
for
3 free advertisements.
60 minutes.
I'm cutting it off here.
I would say this though. I hear what you're saying, but I think that Jason Tatum has played so well this year. NBA All-First team, Jaylen Brown, go Cal, as you said.
He did the turn.
And Marcus Smart, man, all these guys were kind of taking the next step. And Tatum, to go and beat KD, and I know, look, it's the Celtics versus the Nets, but for Tatum to match KD, for Tatum to match Giannis, which he barely did. Giannis was a beast. But for him to be the guy, just as you said, a la Jimmy Butler did for the Miami Heat, I think it shows that he can compete with anyone, and he's taken a step to be a top 10 guy. And you got to respect all top 10 guys in the league, especially in the finals. Again, I do think that the Warriors have a little too for him, and I do think there's a couple guys on the Celtics that if they're not hitting their shot, which we seen with Dallas, you in a whole lot of trouble with the Warriors because I still don't think the Warriors have played their best basketball yet.
Oh, come on.
I haven't seen it, man.
Oh, I
haven't seen it.
We're going to disagree on that.
Collectively.
I think 100%. I think Clay, and this is why when I was on Friday, I spoke at length about how the first thing I thought about when the Warriors advanced to the finals was Klay Thompson, because he went through the torn ACL, popped Achilles, and nobody likes to win more than that guy. He's not the family guy like Steph. He only cares about his dog, his boat. I guess you can include his boat now. But before the boat, it was just his dog.
Just Rocco.
Just Rocco and winning. So
He's got a girlfriend now, though.
Oh,
he's always had a girl, but
like
I think
official?
Yeah, it's a little more serious now.
Well, we're gonna talk to Robert Littal at 4:30, so we'll do a little TMZ Sports. But you know what happened with the last time he was official with a girlfand, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I do. But
okay. People can go ahead and Google
allegedly.
No, this one was not allegedly, Jay. This was factual. But yeah, I mean that was the first thing that I thought of. But in general, he's back, dropped 30 in a series clinching victory, and I think that if anything, if you're a Celtics fan right now, I think the biggest thing that you can latch on to is the Warriors. Like, you brought it up pre-show and I totally disagreed. You said had to go to Miami, back to Boston, then to California, and had to go through 7-game series or whatever. I think that bodes better for them than the Warriors. The Warriors haven't played any competition. Mavericks are cute, sure. Grizzlies are cute, no Ja. I mean, for me, I think the Celtics are better suited to win because they're ready to rock. They went through Giannis. They went through Kevin Durant. They went through, Jimmy Butler and the Heat. To me, I would rather play. I equate it to this, Jay. Help me out with this. You can tell me if you agree or disagree. And you're listening to Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK. If you want to join the conversation, 916-339-1140. We're going to get into some 49ers talk in the next segment. But I equate it to this, Jay. When I was a kid, my dad never, ever, ever, ever let me win until I was physically able to beat him. And I remember specifically the day that I beat him because it was epic. It was euphoric. You know, I was like, oh my God, I beat my dad. And I knew he didn't let me win. There's no like participation trophies or anything like that. But that made me a better player when I played against people of my age. Like when I forget the age that I beat him. Probably like, I don't know, 11, 12, 13, whatever. It doesn't matter. But when I was playing against the other kids, it was way easier to be good because my dad was beating the snot out of me. And to me, that's what the Celtics did versus the Warriors, where I don't think the Mavericks were that good of a team. I think the Suns choked.
I'll say this. The Warriors are battle-tested, though. If this was the Suns, if this was the Dallas Mavericks, I'd say, yeah, I think you're right. We're talking about a team that's been in the finals all decade.
But, Jay, what percentage of the roster is battle-tested?
Half.
Okay.
Half, because we're talking about the big three.
Yeah.
Looney's tested.
Yep.
Iguodala's tested.
No, Looney's
barely tested, man. He's been there. He's been there long enough. Come on now. He's been there 5 years, man.
Wiggins ain't tested.
Yeah, Wiggins.
Poole ain't tested.
Nope. Okay, but Iguodala's tested.
Oh, well, yeah, he's more than tested.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Is he even playing? Is he good to go?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
No, I mean, anyway, I think it's going to be a much more interesting series than most people are giving it credit for. I honestly thought that the Vegas odds were going to be a lot different than what they were. But we're going to get into this Max Strus thing. I want to start, Jay, by telling you that I have a friend named Matt Strauss, and this guy's name is Max Strus. And he looks just like him, and he plays just like him, which just makes it funny. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but that's just the deal. And so there was some controversy over a three, and here's Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Heat, after the game talking about that.
This was two competitive teams going at it. We had a crack at it at the end, even as uneven as the game seemed, we had a crack at it. Our guys are never going to not think that we have a chance at it. But that was so unusual, for us to be grinding and starting to get some momentum, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, by the way, take away that 3, and with no explanation. That's just the human side of it. That's not the complaining side of it. Who knows if that would have changed anything.
Okay, how about this, Eric Spoelstra? Since you didn't want to say it, and maybe he was trying to avoid getting fined, I will argue for you. That peed me the blank off. And I didn't have a dog in the race. I didn't care who was going to win. Here, oh my God. You don't have to put this on the poll, but I'd like to put it on the poll, Jay. Is there anything more annoying than replay? My thing is this. If I can tell you exactly what happened in real time in 2 seconds, how the hell are you guys not getting that done? I don't need to go to some analyst that's in the booth or whatever that saw it and could break it down or whatever. If a casual person can just watch it and know immediately, why doesn't the rest of the world know it immediately? Now, this one was a tough one, and maybe why it's why it took 15 minutes, because from some angles it looked like maybe it was down, and then other, but clear cut, in my opinion, it was a 3. And of course that alters the game. You play differently all the time based on what the score is. It's the same thing that I brought up about Marcus Smart. You don't let the ball roll and the clock to continue when you're winning. You want the clock to go down, trying to win the game. And in this instance, I'd have to go back and know specifically what took place from the time that they thought that the 3 was counted to when they took it off. But either way, of course that affects it. And Spoelstra, again, probably didn't want to say it because he didn't want to get fined. In the words of Marshawn Lynch, shout out Oakland, California, I'm just here so I won't get fined. He probably didn't want to get fined, but of course that affects your strategy, your subbing. It affects everything. And it's just crazy to me that in 2022, with all of the things that we have in space and all of the technology that we have everywhere, like I got into radio because you weren't going to be on TV, but I'm on YouTube Live right now. Hello. Shout out to anybody watching. And the fact that we can't get that figured out and organized immediately, it's ridiculous. And again, I give him credit, and I think he is right. Ultimately, it doesn't really change the outcome of the game. But of course, you play different. You play a lot different based on what the time and score is. And so I just wish that there could just be, it could be me. It could be me at home, and I could just call you right away and be like, yeah, it's good. And they can't figure it out. And these people are getting paid millions of dollars. Or I don't know. What do refs make? Hundreds of thousands of dollars? Do they make millions? I don't know. But either way, they're paid too much money to not have that figured out right away. And if I was running for president or whatever, commissioner of the NBA, that would be my first law. Well, commissioner of all of sports, NFL, baseball too, all that stuff. Like when the baseball umpires go and put their headphones on or whatever, just have Jay call down and be like, hey, yo, that ball was foul. We know, we have HD TVs. It's not like, oh, we don't know what happened or there's no replay or whatever. They slow it down. You can see it specifically. Get it done, people. Like, why do you have to go through all these? Is it because people are getting money? I just, for the life of me, it bothers me. And I don't know how much that would have affected the outcome of the game, but it is what it is, Bottom line is, you don't know what plays were called differently based on the score. You don't know what substitutions were done differently based on the score. And either way, in 2022, we should not be dealing with that. I'm sorry. All right, coming up here at about 4:15, we're going to talk some Niners. Niners fans, if you're out there, would you be shocked if Jimmy G was your quarterback? Talked about this on Friday, but I know it was a holiday weekend. I got a new audience, so I want to hear from you if you want to text in or call in 916-339-1037. 1140 on Twitter. I'm at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. And we are brought to you by Power Business Technology. Check them out online at powerbusinesscopiers.com. It is KHTK.
Keep it locked to the Nick Cattle Show. KHTK has your 2022 NBA draft coverage everywhere.
The fourth pick in the 2022 NBA draft goes to the Sacramento Kings.
Get the latest updates on what the Kings are going to do with the number 4 pick on our social media platforms.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
At Sports 1140 KHTK.
KHTK's 2022 NBA draft coverage is brought to you by
Power Business Technology. Visit them online at powercopiers.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my friend Shelby at refinancewithshelby.com. I want to talk to you about reverse mortgages. Have you considered a reverse mortgage for you or your parents, but you're not sure what it is? Maybe you're a little scared of it. A reverse mortgage loan allows borrowers 62 and above to tap into their home equity to help fund some of their retirement needs. Now, each loan has safeguards in place to protect the borrower, and the funds are dispersed at the borrower's discretion. So what's Shelby going to do to help educate everyone, make you feel a little safer? United Wholesale Lending and Shelby doing a free seminar that'll help you learn the facts and benefits of a reverse mortgage. If you want more info, join them Tuesday, June 21st, 10:30 to 11:30 at Sun City, Lincoln Hills. Limited seating. You got to RSVP by June 14th. Continental breakfast provided. Sign up online at refinancewithshelby.com. Find out from Shelby himself about reverse mortgages. Sign up for the seminar June 21st. refinancewithshelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRE number 01864354.
It's the Nick Cattle Show.
This, I think, speaks to the power of the media and the power of
the Nick Cattle Show.
On Sports 1140 KHTK.
I didn't see this coming. Welcome on back, Sacramento. It is KHTK, or wherever you're listening. You could be on the app or watching via YouTube. If you want to join in on the program, 916-339-1140. It's 4:15. And you know what that is? That's time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. So we talked about the finals and different aspects of it, and in terms of the matchup for the Warriors versus the Celtics. And we're going to talk to Robert Littal. We're going to do what I used to do when I was doing radio in the Bay. The Word. He basically does the TMZ of sports. I don't know if he'd be offended by that description. What do you think, Jay? You think if I said that he was the TMZ of sports, do you think he'd be offended?
I would say no. I'm pretty sure he would double back and say, man, I sure wish I was collecting them TMZ dollars.
Yeah, that's true. He might see it as a compliment, but we'll talk to him and have some fun. But we're going to transition over to the NFL. I know Sacramento, main pro team, obviously the Kings, and we haven't touched on it a ton. I covered who I think they should draft. I covered the GM situation, hiring Mike Brown from the Warriors, being the assistant coach, having his time, obviously, in Cleveland. Just to touch on them briefly before I get to the 49ers, if I hope that Mike Brown learned anything, and the biggest thing that I think Sacramento needs is, and again, using the word again, but unfortunately it happens to be 100% true, culture. Culture. I hope that Mike Brown brings whatever the culture that the Warriors have. If you could bottle that up and bring it to Sacramento, you're going to be a happy person. The Heat have it, bringing what I think was a lesser talented team than the Celtics to Game 7 because of culture. I think other teams would have lost in the first round, or hell, even the second round. But they didn't do it because they have guys with culture like Jimmy Butler, and it's not just him, it's all the role players, and it's how you take players that would normally not maximize their talent to higher levels. I will tell you with the Warriors. They're in the finals, right? Jordan Poole. How much better did he get, and how much do you think that has to do with the fact that he is in the Warriors organization? I'll tell you, I don't want to discredit him, but I will say it has a lot to do with it. I would say Kevon Looney is that guy. Did anybody think that guy was going to be such a big contributor? No. Culture. Klay Thompson even. Hell, Steph Curry. I mean, I know he was a top 10 pick, but you don't think Steph Curry's skills are maximized based on what they have around him? That's what the damn Kings need. You need to have a guy that's going to come in there and make a guy that you just thought was whatever and turn him into something special. It's almost a problem for the Warriors. I was talking with a buddy, Jay. He was like, first of all, you know what a luxury it is that I was legitimately having a conversation with my best friend about who to keep between Poole, Wiggins, and Looney. That's not even mentioning the big three, Jay. That's not saying Steph Curry. That's not saying Klay Thompson. That's not saying Draymond Green. He was like, I'm like, what, you have two big threes? But he was like legitimately talking about like, who would you keep out of those three?
You know, it's well, first of all, can I make my pick?
Of course.
Jordan Poole. Give me Jordan Poole.
Oh, no, I think you can keep two.
Oh, so you want I can keep two out of the three.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, I would take Jordan Poole. You could take the other two for me.
Oh, okay.
Because Wiggs makes so much money that I think you can do a few other things with it. But don't get me wrong. The way he's balling, if he continues to play the way he is, look, I might I don't want to say take a flyer, but I might keep him. But Loon's so banged up, and I think Loon is taking some discounts to stay with the Warriors that if he has a great finals, I think someone's going to outprice him compared to the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of got to let Loon go. But it is to it must be great.
Oh, to have six players
Come
that
on,
you're talking
man.
about?
I'm just saying to have. Listen, it's like this. Would you rather have 100K? Would you rather have $1 million?
Yeah, I know. And this is a team that lost Kevin Durant.
I know.
I'm like, the Warriors fans are so spoiled.
Now they are.
It's like, they were pathetic. They were a pathetic franchise my whole time growing up. I know you and I are the same age, but yeah, he was talking to me about that. I'm like, I can't believe that you're talking about three other players that are not named Steph, Klay, or Draymond. He's like, yeah, well, I just, who do you keep? Which two of the three do you keep? And the thing about Wiggins that's crazy, I don't know if you saw this stuff went viral about Nick Wright. He works for Fox Sports. And he said, Steph Curry, with this trade, D'Angelo Russell for Wiggins will never go to a finals. And he didn't even say win a championship. Yeah. He said go to the finals ever again. But Wiggins has been incredible. Because if you would ask me, Jay, like a year ago, I would have been like, because Kevon Looney provides a skill set that's different than what they have. I mean, even Draymond, he's more of like a point forward than you would call like a rebounding center. So I feel like you want to keep that set of skill set on your roster. So I would like put him one. With Poole, he's shown flashes that he could be just as much of a superstar as anybody else. But Wiggins, Jay, if anybody on that roster has changed the narrative on who they are and what their reputation is, Wiggins, they literally were, Steve Kerr said it. They were setting his minutes to Luka's minutes, matching them up because he was playing that good of defense on him. And, Luka still did his thing because he's a superstar. But I'm with you, though. I would go letting Wiggins go more out of all the three.
Yeah, he makes $25 million a year, man. You're going to be able to $25 million a year get you a heck of a play. And I'm not saying Wiggins is
Poole's going to want that bag.
Absolutely.
Poole's going to want that
bag.
But
man, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need that. Cash me out. So he's gonna get the 25. Right. Come on. So I think if you go to Wiggins, you probably can get him to take a little hometown discount.
Yeah.
Hey man, we got you a championship. You want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
Instead of taking 25, we might need to take that 17, 18.
Yeah.
The other part about it is Iguodala's been stealing money over the last 4 or 5 years.
But I think it's kind of one of those like what's the guy on the Heat? Udonis.
Yeah, but he's making way more money though.
Yeah.
We're talking 11, 12 million.
Is he making that much?
Dude, he made, remember 3 years ago.
He's not taking the veterans minimum?
No, man, this dude's still on that $19 million contract he got from Miami.
Come on.
Man, look it up.
Oh, I got to
Remember he held the Warriors hostage?
Yes, and then he went to Minnesota,
No,
correct?
but he re-signed with the Warriors first. And then they traded him.
Oh, okay.
And then he got back.
Oh, okay.
This dude's not taking the $2 million UD deal. He wants his 19, 17. I need my 11. I mean, dude, you're not even playing. You're street clothes.
Jay, wouldn't it be nice to get paid not to do anything?
Oh, man, you speaking to the crowd. I mean, but I'm not
Preaching
saying
to the choir.
He brings a voice.
Yeah.
He is a
coach.
At this point,
that's
he
what
is
I was
a
saying
coach.
about Usalam, is that he's there. He's basically an
UD.
assistant coach.
Right,
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
But he's taking $2 million, 1.7.
Yeah,
the vet's men, right.
Yeah.
We're talking about, look, I'm going to look $1 up real quick.
Okay, all right, yeah, do that. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like in general, this is going to be a situation. This is a good problem to have. You want to have too much money. You want to have too many things going your way. And we didn't get to the Niners, but we'll do it later in the show. I just got stuck on this, but it just strikes me as a situation where, like, you almost root against your own players because you don't want it to become too much of a problem. And I remember when the Jordan Poole stuff was going down, there were times that he was not very happy when Clay came back and his minutes got cut. He was like, have you seen what I'm doing? He showed to the world, and that's why they're calling him the third Splash Brother, and people are doing play on words because his last name is Poole and all that stuff. But there was a time where he was not happy with what was going on because he was like, look what I did in his absence, and Clay did not look good for a long stretch. But again, it's a very good problem to have.
Absolutely.
I think the Kings would the Kings fans listening would kill themselves or not, well, whatever. Lose a limb to have the issue of having too many players.
So the last couple of years now, he signed the vet minimum, which we spoke about this year.
Okay.
Prior to that, he got $14 million last year from Miami.
Oh, yeah. So he hasn't been stealing from the Warriors.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm going to go back for you real fast.
Oh, okay. All right.
The year that he held the Warriors hostage, he signed that 3-year deal. He got 11.7, 11.3, and $14 million. Then he got the 1 year for 17, which equaled out to 16 because he got the bonus. And then they traded him. He got the $10 million from Memphis on the back end, plus the extra 5 from Miami, because remember, he went to Miami, then they traded him to Memphis. So he made $15 million that year, and then last year he signed a 1-year deal for Miami for $14 million. So this guy's made 14, 10, 15, 16, 14, 11. Now, that's going back to 2017, 2018.
Wow.
Now, man. UD's been getting, what, 1.7, 1.8, 2 million, which Iguodala got this year, 2.6. Wow. Which he should have got. He's held these guys hostage.
How many games has he played this year? Like over under double digits. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I mean, it must be nice. Well, look, Kyrie didn't take the vaccine, and he got paid to not play home games because of the mandate. And Kevin Durant, hell, he got a max deal right after popping his Achilles with the Warriors from the Nets. He didn't play the whole year and got paid. People are out here getting paid not to work. God, must be nice. I swear, it must be nice. Anyways, we're working. Zachariah filling in for the Nick Cattle Show, 916-339-1140 if you want to join us. We're going to talk to Robert Littal. I had him on Friday. Didn't give him enough time because I love doing a segment that I like to call The Word. We don't have like the bed that we used to, but we'll figure something out. But it's basically going around the wacky world of sports and just having some fun on this Tuesday after your Memorial holiday weekend. It is Zachariah, KHTK.
Nick Cattles Show.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. The wind is steadily weakening this evening. It will continue to do so overnight. Expect temperatures to start in the upper 50s on Wednesday, quickly climbing into the mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Everybody knows Bonnie is Sacramento's leading plumbing, drain, and sewer specialist. Schedule a free camera inspection with any sewer drain cleaning, and we'll show you why. Some restrictions apply. Schedule your appointment at Bonnie.com.
Okay, open wide. Good to see you've been flossing. What's on your chest? Oh, that's just my lentil soup. It was supposed to be here an hour ago. I'll say it's unprofessional. We should have ordered through Easy Cater. Food shows up on time as ordered. Yeah, it really burns me up too. Oh, the soup. Oh, hold my crackers. I'll go get the lead apron.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but Easy Cater just does. Food for work on time and as ordered from over 85,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Mobil 1 Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Got an older vehicle? Try Mobil 1 Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is Terry Crews, and that is the sweet, sweet sound of a live audience. That's right. AGT is back with the electricity of a big crowd, with the most incredible acts yet. Plus, your favorite judges, Simon, Howie, Heidi, and Sophia, and $1 million up for grabs with a live audience.
AGT is back, followed by the premiere of Dancing with Myself, tonight on NBC.
There's a bluebird on my shoulder. There's a bluebird on my shoulder. There's a bluebird on my shoulder.
Live and local.
Upfront and opinionated.
It's the Nick Cattles Show right here on the King of Sacramento Sports Talk. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Welcome on back. It is Zachariah filling in for Nick Cattles right here on KHTK. We've got an interesting rest of the show. We're going to, at 5 o'clock, well, at 4:30, we're going to get back to the finals a little bit, and I didn't really get into the Niners at all because I got sidetracked. That tends to happen with me, so you'll have to be patient. But we're going to talk about Cap and Kapler, if you will, at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. But, yeah. Coming up next, we'll talk about the Niners, and we'll touch on what I think. We're going to hear some sound from some players, and I know that they're specifically supposed to say certain things. And I'm going to try to get a temperature gauge of the Sacramento Nation, Sacktown, if you will, 916-339-1140. But right now, it is a pleasure. I had him on Friday, but I didn't realize the clock and the timing, and so I did not get enough time with my man, the one and only Robert Littal. He runs Black Sports Online. I don't know how you guys – let me start with this, Robert, and thank you for joining me. How did you get BSO?
How did I get BSO?
No, I mean like the Twitter handle. Like how wasn't that already taken?
See, you know something? They don't even let you have 3-letter Twitter handles anymore. I had a little poll back in the day with somebody that worked there. And I told them, I said, hey, nobody's using this BSO thing, you know, can I get it? I had a different one, and I got it switched over, and maybe like 6 months later, they said, hey, we're not giving out any more 3-word things. So I'm the one, and everybody wants it too, the cops in Broward County Sheriff's Office, the Boston Symphony wants it. I always get tweets from the Boston Symphony saying that was a lovely dinner at the BSO. And I'm like, thank you so much. I do play the cello in my free time.
Well, he was lucky enough to get it. Follow him on Twitter at BSO. That reminds me of the Office episode where the guy's trying to push the new website or whatever, and they say, we already have an offer to buy to buy the company or whatever, and then it turns out that it was like the initials of a school or whatever, so it had nothing to do with it. Anyways, well, all right, well, good for you. So, look, you know how this works. I've known you for years now, and I love finding an excuse to mix in pop culture with sports. So it has to have a sports tie-in, which is kind of basically exactly what you do, Black Sports Online. But wanted to ask you about, and you can go away from it. It's just Gilbert Arenas saying that he thought the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock, Oscar slap, as they're calling it, was staged and fake. First of all, were you watching it in real time? If you didn't watch it in real time, what did you make of it? And do you agree with Gilbert that it was fake?
Yeah, I was watching it. Like, you know how you have something on in the background?
Uh-huh.
I was watching it, and I remember, like, I had the volume a little low, but then I heard a gas. I looked up, and I saw Will walking back, like with his pimp walk. And I'm like, why are you walking back? And I rewinded it, and I said, did he just slap Chris Rock like Kiki and walk back? And I saw it, and then I went on Twitter, and everybody was talking about it. And no, that wasn't staged. What happened is, Will has been emasculated by Jada for about 20 years now, and it just built up to the point where he couldn't take it anymore. This man is still haunted by the ghost of Tupac, and Tupac died in 1996.
Yeah, I know.
So he had Chris Rock. You know how you're mad at somebody else, and you just take it out on a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rock is the guy. For the 25 years, Will has been, it been building up. It all came out in that thunder slap, and Chris Rock just happened to be the victim.
So you don't think that was fake?
No. If it was fake, they didn't think it out. They didn't think it through very well because, like, some real stuff actually, happened to Will. I mean, they took some actual money out of his pocket. I'm sure. I mean, I don't see what the benefit of Will doing it. I mean, Chris got some extra money. So if Chris convinced him to do it, good for Chris, but it definitely didn't help Will except getting clowned and money taken out of his pocket.
Well, yeah, I mean, not only that, Robert, he's banned from a 10-year ban or whatever, and it's costing him endorsements and all stuff like. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. If that was fake, I mean, he would have factored knowing going into it that it was going to cost him all that. So I'm with you. I don't think it was fake at all. But
I think not.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Okay. Travis Kelce, who I think is beloved by most people outside of I don't know, probably Oakland because of the Raiders, and they're or Las Vegas now because they're in the division, and the Chargers who are in LA now. Whatever. On and on. But this report is near and dear to my heart. First of all, it's hard to have a slur go your way when you're just a Dutch white guy. But there is a phrase called going Dutch, and that means when you split the check. And this story coming out, Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kyla Nicole, after rubbishing wild rumors that Travis let her pay half of the bills and also gave her only $100 in their entire relationship, has released some thirst traps, probably to remind him and us all that she's still hot with killer curves. What do you make about this? Because I can't cook either. And the headline is that she dumped him because he couldn't cook.
The problem, here was the problem, was she can't cook. And I mean, I think he gave her more than $100, but let's just say she's not getting the gifts like a little baby or be giving out the gifts. Travis is not a sponsor, so to speak, like Kodak Black or somebody like that. So she was a little jealous that she wasn't getting as much. And, he's like, you got a job, you got sponsors, you make some money off those Instagram pics. You can, pay for your own bag. And what happened was, just like Will Smith, she got fed up, and she saw Cam Newton out there talking about, we losing recipes, and people are just IG models, and they don't cook, and they don't cater to their man. And she went off on him, on social media. And Kelce, I found this out later, Kelce and Cam are pretty good friends. They're cool. And, it's kind of he broke a rule. Your girl is not supposed to make certain comments about your boy. And that kind of was the last straw. So now, she's out there, posting the photos and checking the DMs. I'm sure there's a lot of thirsty guys in there now. But now she kind of has this kind of reputation that, you got to, pay to play.
Robert Littall joins me, Black Sports Online. It's just great. I mean, it gives me fodder. I love using it as a segment 100%. I'm going to get a little bit serious here. I mean, I like to lighten it up, but, I like talking real stuff with you. You and I have broken bread. The whole Colin Kaepernick and Gabe Kapler situation, the fact that, to me, it's totally mirrored, and I think it's probably, I mean, in my opinion, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me, it evolved over time in terms of what people were saying at one point and now what people are saying now. Because Kapler, they're like, oh, yeah, 100%. And when Cap was doing it, he was blackballed from the league. No pun intended.
Right. Yeah, the thing about the Colin Kaepernick that I never really understood is that, well, I did understand it, but it's like when someone tells you something, say, hey, it's not veterans, not the flag, it's holding up the standards that the country is supposed to, have, and people just totally ignore that. It's just making it to what it is. So the same thing with Kapler. He's like, I'm not saying I'm un-American. I'm not saying I got an issue with vets, an issue with the flag. I got an issue with the fact that, children are being murdered. There's so many shootings just on an everyday, basis. We're supposed to be the United States of America. We're supposed to be the beacon of freedom. We're supposed to be the country that other countries look up to, and we have people just looking the other way to line their pockets. And I can't, with good conscience, stand out there while that's happening. And even though he said, it's like, nah, you're not American, you're this, you're that. It just tells you that, like you said, this is 6 years after Colin Kaepernick, and we're still kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what the frustrating part is, that we're not getting any solutions. We're not making any changes. It's just a different day, different month, different year, different situation, but same outcomes.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I know you didn't touch on it, but Steve Kerr, I mean, when he was so frustrated, obviously Steve Kerr, not similar to me because our fathers died tragically in different scenarios, but he lost his father young to gun violence. Yeah. And it was across the country, but the bottom line is, he was just like, we can't just keep coming up here and saying, condolences to the family and then just not do anything. And so for the Kapler thing, if it raises awareness, same thing with Colin Kaepernick, then, you have to do something to get people to do something. Otherwise, if you just let it go by the wayside, then nothing's going to change. So, yeah.
I was watching, if you got time, I was watching, unfortunately, one of the parents doing an interview, and they said, essentially what you just said is that everybody is on Twitter, everyone is talking, everyone is sending thoughts and prayers, and then 2 weeks, they move on.
Next news story, yep.
Next news story. I mean, we're from Buffalo to that, to what's going to be the next thing. And he says, but that just leaves the people where it actually happened to. Nobody comes back for them. Yep. Nobody checks on them. Yep. Nobody sees how they're doing. Yep. Nobody is helping them after the fact, after the first week or whatever.
Yep.
And they have to live with that. And I'm like, what a terrible we have a country where we can, I just quote Tupac, we got money for wars, but can't feed the poor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just simple line, but even in 2022, you're like, man, we got a lot of money to give to the Ukraine.
No.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with helping.
Yep.
But when we gonna help our own, people, and not let us? We shouldn't have to deal with these things as an advanced country the way that we are.
No, I know, and that's like the give and take with America. It's like there's so many great things about it, but then also, some horrible things about it. Anyways, check out the website. His stuff is a lot more fun. All the gossip, all the good stuff. Love him to death. Robert Littall on Twitter at BSO. Appreciate you, Robert.
Yeah, I'm headed to the Bay. Back at the NBA Finals. So be sure to check me out. I'll be live streaming, doing all my things. You never know, maybe get some good questions in.
Well, hit me up. Let's go get dinner.
Oh, definitely, bro. I definitely will.
All right, sounds good. Robert Littall, everybody. Usually we do a light segment, but it got a little serious, but I wanted to get his thoughts on it because I wanted to touch on it, but not, it's easier when you have a guest and you touch on it, if you will. Go ahead. You can join the program, either text line or you can call in 916-339-1140. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK.
The Nick Cattle Show.
Weather is brought to you by Sleep First.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Temperatures tonight will drop back into the mid-50s. The breeze will settle down after sunset. Wednesday, calm, sunny, and warm with high temperatures in the mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Why wait to get better sleep? Change your life today. Come into Sleep First and compare Purple and Tempur-Pedic side by side and save up to $800 on select models. Shop local and save big this Memorial Day at Sleep First. Payment plans for everyone at Sleep First.
Hi, Doug Christie here for the Good Feet Store. You don't have to have a 43-inch vertical leap like a professional basketball player to put major stress on your feet. An average adult puts the equivalent of several hundred tons of pressure on their feet every day. So it's understandable that things can go wrong, painfully wrong, with your feet, affecting your knees, legs, hips, and back. They did for me, but no more thanks to the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. My feet, back, and whole body are feeling great. Trust me, you'll feel great as well. Prove it to yourself. Visit the Good Feet store. Get a free arch support fitting. Take the pair for a walk around the store, around the center. Stop living in pain. Come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto, online at goodfeet.com. Tell them Doug Christie sent you. That's goodfeet.com.
Experts all agree to hit the golf ball farther and straighter. It's critical to be properly fitted for your golf clubs. Hagen Oaks professional staff of fitters and instructors deliver the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA players. The indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio offers the latest in technology and the advantage of actually seeing your ball flight. It truly is the best of both worlds. Call the Player Performance Studio at Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway. Call 916-808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Out with the hot takes and in with the smart takes.
You're a smart guy. You're my favorite talk host here because you say it how it is.
It's the Nick Cattle Show on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Welcome on back. Yes, Nick Cattles definitely says it how it is. And I'm trying to say it how it is. Zachariah filling in here, right here on KHTK. If you want to join the show, 916-339-1140. We will get to, we're going to play some Jimmy Butler sound after the game. And I've already made my affinity for him very clear. But we'll get back into it and just the way that he words stuff. I feel like you can tell a lot about a guy based on the way that they react to things and how much that culture is important. But right now, we're going to switch it up. We're going to talk some NFL. And if there's Niners fans out there, 916-339-1140, you can either text in there or call in there. And I talked about this on Friday and Wednesday because I find the San Francisco 49ers 2022 version to be the most interesting team in the league. And I interviewed Matt Maiocco, and I asked him, and he basically confirmed it. They are. They are completely intriguing. And they're completely intriguing because they're not some bum team. It's not like there's not expectations for them. But there is a lot of uncertainty. I'll tell you what. The Dallas Cowboys knows who their quarterback is. going to be Dak Prescott. Even the Jets. They know who their quarterback's going to be. The Giants, I mean, at least for the time being, they know who the quarterback's going to be. Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, they know who it's going to be. And I think the Niners know that Trey Lance is going to be their quarterback. But I just wonder, all you Niners fans out there, I just wonder, if Trey Lance does not prove to be at least good enough to get to the NFC Championship game, then did you make a huge mistake? Because quarterbacks, there's not a ton of examples, but remember, when Peyton Manning won his Super Bowl with Denver, Jay, he was washed. He was a shell of himself. He was not the Indianapolis Colts Peyton Manning. He had 75 shoulder surgeries, whatever it was.
Neck. He had the neck issue.
Neck fusions, all sorts of stuff. But they won because their defense was so damn good. Von Miller and them boys. I remember, I think that Super Bowl was played in Santa Clara. Against they mollywopped somebody. They got mollywopped by the Seahawks.
Carolina?
Carolina, yeah. No, that wasn't.
Was that Cam?
Yeah, that wasn't a blowout. Yeah, that was Cam. That was when Cam didn't go for the fumble, and he got criticized for that. But I just wonder if you're going to look back. I mean, you have to know 100% that Trey Lance is going to be the thing that gets you over the hump. And I get it. Jimmy G has not been the reason why you've gotten to the NFC Championship game twice with him. But damn sure if he didn't do it. And do you really care about how you get there? I'm a guy where I don't need the glory. You get me to the promised land, I don't care how we got there. I'll sit on the bench. If I get a championship ring, I'm a champion. You know? And so I just, if Trey Lance ends up being a huge, I know that they drafted him thinking that he'd be a huge upgrade over Jimmy G, but if he ends up being a substantial downgrade from Jimmy G, and I know you're a Niners fan, Jay, you tell me, let's just say, and I've thrown this out there, if he looks bad in OTAs and training camp, and Jimmy G is fully healthy from his surgery, who do you want to start week 1, Jay?
Trey Lance.
Okay.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
So
no one looks bad in OTAs, man.
So you're just all in?
I mean, you have to be.
You can look bad in preseason.
No one looks bad in OTAs, man.
You can look bad.
I'm in shorts and a red top. No one's even going to touch a quarterback.
No, but they have look, I'm with you. If it's if a college prospect that's trying out for it, everybody looks great doing that.
Come on.
Pro days. But no, they have scrimmages with other teams.
No one looks bad, man. I get what you're trying to say. You have to think about it. I'm a as you say, I'm a sit back and watch type of cat when it comes to real game action.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is a machine to the point, and I've been saying this on this show a couple times with Nick. I get it. This is a story because it has to be a story. The NFL pumps everything up 3 times than it really is.
And you're saying this is no story? What are you getting at?
No, what I'm saying is we haven't seen him play. I mean, he played 2 games last year. He looked terrible against Arizona. I get it. He was a rookie. But did we not know this guy was a quarterback that was going to take a year or 2 coming out? And I've said this. As much as I'm a Niner fan, if you would have told me that the Niners would have been literally a series or 2 away from reaching their Super Bowl, I'd have told you you're lying. Because the corner position all last year was terrible for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They were all banged up. Jimmy G, to me, is just not a guy that you can win a Super Bowl with.
But do you have any idea if Trey Lance
he's been there. No. But isn't that what we knew coming into the draft? We knew we didn't know what this guy was. We knew every analyst, every draft guy, everybody that was looking at this guy, they even put on a 1-game showcase for him at North Dakota State. The guy's only played 10 games. We know what this guy, we know it's going to take time. We know he has to work on his craft. We know we have to send him down to the quarterback guru. We knew he needed to take, he's got to be in the weight room. He's got to go, hit the quarterback whisper. We all knew that. Why are we expecting this guy to take the Niners to the Super Bowl now? Because what? The Niners got close last year?
Absolutely. If he didn't overthrow,
if
Jimmy G overthrow Emmanuel Sanders, we might be talking about Jimmy G as a champion.
That's Jimmy G's fault.
Okay, you're right.
If Richard Sherman didn't give up 3rd and 15 and Ward and Tart didn't give up 3rd and 15, we'd be talking about
that's
it.
That's a different
conversation. And we would also be talking about Pat Mahomes wouldn't be as great as he is because he wouldn't have a Super Bowl, which he played terrible in the quarter, minus the third quarter, the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter.
Yes, that's true. But
if was a fifth, we all be drunk.
Exactly, and that's 100% true. But what I'm saying is, if Trey Lance ends up being a huge downgrade from Jimmy G, the Niners are going to regret this because you've gotten close. You've gotten to 2 conference titles games. One of them you won, And I don't think it's a huge slam dunk. But let's get to some sound from his teammates. I'm sure these guys are all, walking the company line. But let's hear first from the tight end, George Kittle.
Even if it's just from his routine every single day to how he holds himself, his confidence, I feel like is a lot higher too. I think as a NFL player, you have to have confidence to be able to do anything. If you lack confidence, then that's when you drop a football. That's when everything snowballs and you throw one interception, then the next thing you know, it's an incomplete pass. You mess up a play call. And Trey's done a good job of hey, if he doesn't like a pass, the next one's still going to come out firing. And so you got to appreciate that. But I do. I think he's gotten better from where he was at the end of last year.
I sure hope so. He started 2 games. He had a lot to not like, and he had a lot to like. But ultimately, again, I would say be careful what you wish for. The grass is not always greener. But let's hear from Jimmy Ward on Trey.
He's more comfortable coming in OTAs. You get to start day one. Obviously, he's still gonna make mistakes. I'm 9 years and I'm still making mistakes. It's just about experience with him. So the more plays he get, the more different defense he get to go up against. And we're one of the best defenses in the league. Well, we got to prove that again. But previous was one of the best defense in the last few years. But him going against us, we're gonna make him better, and he's also gonna make us better.
Yeah, look. It's not like I'm rooting against the guy. I just wonder if people are just assuming because they gave up the draft capital that they did, that it's just going to be that easy. And I think ultimately, if you got close with a guy, then maybe you'd want to get close again, because maybe you won't get close at all. Yeah, you lost the Super Bowl. You lost the NFC Championship game. But maybe you won't make the playoffs if Trey Lance is not the guy that you thought you were trading for. 916-339-1140. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK.
Live and local.
To the Nick Cattle Show. And opinionated.
It's the Nick Cattle.
Local businesses can get closer to every customer in their city with fast, affordable shipping. Introducing USPS Connect Local. You want speed? We deliver same or next day. You want savings? We give you supplies at a flat rate. You want less legwork? We do free pickups. Move your local business forward with the United States Postal Service. Let's connect at USPSconnect.com/local. Specific markets, restrictions apply. Same day or next day delivery expected, but not guaranteed with entry close to final destination.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you can get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin. You know, from that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
It's so sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, open wide. Good to see you've been flossing. What's on your chest? Oh, that's just my lentil soup. It was supposed to be here an hour ago. I'll say it's unprofessional. We should have ordered through Easy Cater. Food shows up on time as ordered. Yeah, it really burns me up too. Oh, the soup. Oh, hold my crackers. I'll go get the lead apron.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but Easy Cater just does. Food for work on time and as ordered from over 85,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Mobil 1 Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Got an older vehicle? Try Mobil 1 Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
We are the home for the Kings, Raiders, the NFL, and the A's.
We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
I knew it was going to be a good show.
This, I think, speaks to the power of the media and the power of
The Nick Adams Show.
On Sports 1140 KHTK.
My bad, a little rusty. Got to figure out those rejoiners, but I knew it was going to be a good rejoin day when me and Jay were hooking up. And I'm proud to be in here filling in for the Nick Cattle Show. It is Zachariah right here on KHTK. If you want to join the program, you are welcome to do so at any time. 916-339-1140. You can also text in there. Hit me up on Twitter, won't you? I unapologetically am always looking for followers. At Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. And it is afternoon drive time. You're probably getting off, coming off the weekend, maybe a little tired, a little sluggish. I'm going to try to bump up your energy. But it's also time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And, of course, we're brought to you by Power Business Technology. Check them out at powerbusinesscopiers.com. So we're going to talk to Scott Ostler, who is a fantastic reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle. Actually, my dad's favorite, which is like the biggest compliment you could tell me. Might not mean anything to anybody else, but my dad loves Scott Ostler, so he's going to join me coming up here in about 15 minutes. Right now, I want to get back to the finals, Celtics and Warriors. We put it on the poll. Jay, what kind of results we got on that? What's it looking like? Are people admitting, are Warriors fans admitting that they were rooting for the Heat? Because I think if you're a Warriors fan, you were definitely rooting for the Heat. I think both teams are great defensively. But I don't know how much offensive firepower the Heat have. And I think that's ultimately the difference between the two teams. I think I was reading defensive efficiency. Celtics were 1, Warriors were 2. I'm sure the Heat were high up there. I don't know exactly what it was. But to me, the difference between the two teams, if you're a Warriors fan, is that the Celtics have Tatum and Brown, and the Heat have Butler, and who else? Hero was hurt. And they didn't get a lot out of a lot. I mean, Bam Adebayo, don't get me wrong, I love that guy. That guy is a defensive monster, and he can put up games where he has a lot of points. But I think ultimately, if you're looking at who's the biggest threat to us winning it, you were hoping the Heat won it. And it's not how it went down. Celtics won Game 7 in Miami. Tough place to play. And ultimately, if you win a road game in Miami, I give credit to your organizational structure because Miami has a lot of distractions. But it'll be the Celtics and the Warriors.
The poll is going against you there, brother.
No.
Right now.
People were rooting for the Celtics?
60.7% for the Celtics.
Okay, now, are those
39.3% for the Miami Heat.
Wow. Now, are those Celtics fans voting?
They might be. You know, Nick's from the East Coast, man. He might already have a in on the squad.
I know he tweets about the Celtics.
He's a Celtic
all the
guy.
time.
Yeah, he's a Celtic guy.
So, are those people tweeting because they like the Celtics? It can't be Warriors fans that were rooting for them. What do you think, Jay?
I would say Miami. As I said, if I was a Warriors, give me Miami because, again, we can alienate Jimmy Butler by himself. Bam is going to probably eat and eat and eat. But, I mean, if he gets 20 points, good luck to you.
Yeah.
They're not going to be up. The one thing about Boston, they have a firepower offensively to hang with the Warriors, and I give you that. I think the other part about the Celtics, too, is their defense, as you've alluded to all show. Their defense can really lock down. And Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, even though I think it should have went to Draymond, but I think he can make it difficult on Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those type of guys on the wings, man. So I think if it was me, give me Miami. I would almost give them a gentleman's sweep. I think Boston's going to go a little further, but yeah, I'm with you. The Heat, but the poll 60-39 right now.
That's crazy. Because it's California. Assume that there's a lot of Warriors. I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. I mean, the Heat were the number 1 seed. But in terms of looking at the matchups, who do you think is going to be guarding Tatum? Klay, probably, right?
Nah, Wiggins.
Wiggins?
Yeah, Wiggins. Yeah.
Wiggins. Wiggins was huge on Luka, but yeah, I don't know. I think that, and I'll ask Scott Osler coming up here in a little bit. I'll ask him who he thinks would have had the lesser chance, I should say, of beating the Warriors. But I think that Warriors fans need to be cut out for a little bit of a tougher series than they think it's going to actually be. Because, again, I talked about this earlier in the show in terms of what the Celtics had to go through to get to the point where they're at now and how good they are defensively. Again, defensive efficiency, if you want to break that down, analytics, all that stuff. Celtics 1, Warriors 2. So they're both going to play great defense. But to me, the difference between the Celtics and the Heat, big time, was just the ability to score. Because the Warriors might black out. Klay might have what do they call it? Closeout Klay. Closeout games, and then we all know that he still has the record, I think, most threes in one quarter, 17. Yeah. He's got like a Wings commercial. We could do another free sponsor that they could send us a check in the mail.
He's got the 37 in the quarter against the Kings as well.
Yeah. And I think most threes.
6 games. He's 6-game Klay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Game 6 Klay. Come on.
Game 6 Klay. And closeout Klay, though. So they have the capability, especially with Steph, when you can pull up from half court. And don't get me started. I'm not going to do this. People talk about it. I'm not doing the whether or not it means something to Steph's legacy if he gets finals MVP. Give me a break. Guys won it 3 times. Iguodala won the finals MVP, and I think I heard somebody was saying that they voted on it and they voted for Iguodala in that scenario. And then obviously KD was the best player the 2 times they beat the Cavs. I don't think it means anything to his legacy whether or not. I mean, I guess it would be nice so people would shut up about it, but it doesn't mean anything to me. 916-339-1140. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show. Let's get to some sound here because I want to try to relate this as much as I can to the Sacramento Kings. Big draft day, by the way. That's the one thing about when you're bad, and no offense, Kings fans, don't get mad at me, but they have the record for most years never making the playoffs. But the one good thing is you got draft day. And not only do you have draft day, I remember while I was listening to Nick, it was like a parade that they got all the way up to the 4 spot. I don't remember specifically where they were supposed to go. I know it was top 10.
7.
7. And then it was 4. It was like, 4. But here is Jimmy Butler after the game. And this is whoever they draft there, and I don't care if they trade back or whatever ends up happening, this is the kind of sound I want out of the guy that they pick.
In my book, I just think I can't have bad games. I play like trash a couple, and I think that was the series.
Talk about complete accountability. How much accountability have you had here in the state's capital over the past however many years? Not a ton. And that guy will look you dead in the face and tell you it was on me. And it wasn't on him. Hell, he was playing on one leg. If there was anybody that it wasn't on, it was Jimmy Butler. That guy was locked in, played his heart out. Again, I forgot to look it up, Jay, forgive me, but I think he had 4 40-point games in the playoffs and none during the regular season. That is not a guy that needs to be sitting there taking accountability. And that's what he did. Said it's on me. Played like trash a couple games. Can't afford to do that. And that's true. In a 7-game series, you can't afford to have 2 bad games. But don't sit there and tell me when you're listing off the things that went wrong for the Heat in losing that series that Jimmy Butler is in the top 10 of that. He's the only reason probably that it went 7 games. By the way, breaking news. Do we have a breaking news sounder? We used to have a breaking news sound. It was kind of a joke.
When it breaks, we have it first. KHTK breaking news.
My bad. If I had known you had like a legitimate one, I wouldn't have tossed to it. But former Kings head coach Luke Walton hired by the Cleveland Cavaliers as an assistant coach. Is that breaking news? Does that count, Jay? Is that good enough?
Of course, it counts on your show. It counts, brother. Add it up.
Fair enough. I was kind of joking. But Walton joins Coach J.B. Bickerstaff's staff after spending the past 5+ seasons as head coach of the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. Kings fans, you know the Pulse better than me, Jay. Probably not very fond of Luke Walton. Do you blame him? Do you feel like he was kind of blamed improperly?
No, I think he got a fair shake by the Kings fans. Luke came in, a lot of people didn't want Jaeger to be gone. I think because he had the winningest record in quite a bit of a long time, and they thought, he played fast, or not he played, but his scheme was fast, and so a lot of people kind of scratched their head about why Jaeger was, let go. And Luke is one of the nicest cats you would ever meet. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to meet Luke, but Luke is super nice.
A little bit when he was with the Warriors.
Yeah, he's one of the nicest guys, and so his attitude was always positive. He always said pretty much the proper things. I think a lot of people wanted him to show a little more oomph, and I think he just kind of even spirited, and I think when it goes down in history, most people will probably say, it was one of those Kings, one of those tries by the Kings, and it didn't really work out. I don't think really people, more or less, more people blame him for a lot of the things. Now, of course, they're going to talk about his rotations and a few things that he did. It didn't seem like he, had a grasp on X's and O's. Yeah, exactly. But he's a player's coach, man. He was really even, like I said, he was always on time. He was always able to answer the questions. He wouldn't turn away from those questions. He wouldn't turn away from anything that was asked upon him. But I don't think there's really people. I don't think people hate him, and I don't think people like, oh my great. He was one of the greatest Kings coaches because he didn't succeed. So I think he's just gonna go down in one of those guys in history.
Yeah, and that's kind of what puzzles me. And I know it's the home of the Kings, and I am not trying to trash the hire at all. And, Mike Brown is coming from a very successful organization that is still currently in the finals. And
did Luke?
Yeah. But that's kind of where it's like, if you didn't like the run of the mill, then what you needed to do was take a swing, whether you hit a home run or you struck out. And so with the Mike Brown hiring, again, I think it's going to change the culture. I think ultimately I like the hire in terms of getting to that like big push that you want, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. 916-339-1140. We're going to talk to Scott Ostler. He is of the San Francisco Chronicle right here. KHTK, Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show.
It's the Nick Cattle Show.
The Nick Cattle Show.
Nobody's giving you more coverage of the 2022 NBA Draft than Sports 1140 KHTK.
Who is the fourth guy behind Smith, Holmgren, and Banchero?
Well, it's Jaden Ivey, but I also think that there were some things that were a little bit concerning late in the season with Jaden Ivey. I'm not sitting here and saying he's a definitive bust, but I don't think that at times it translated on the court, and that's always concerning for a guy like that with me.
KHTK's 2022 NBA Draft coverage is brought to you by
Power Business Technology. Visit them online at powercopiers.com.
Yams, carrots, peas. Immune health is important. Salmon, swordfish, almonds. And when it comes to vitamins and minerals, healthy foods hold them all. Pumpkin, peppers, beets. But can you hold them all? Oh, so full. Sunrise Natural Foods has the healthy foods and the largest selection of immune-boosting supplements your body needs. So eat healthy and supplement too with a great selection of health from Sunrise Natural Foods. Learn about monthly specials at sunrisenaturalfoods.net.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open road. Maybe your best friend too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. You and your friend both look over at each other, and then he puts his head back out the window. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
It's the Nick Cattle Show.
This, I think, speaks to the power of the media and the power of
the Nick Cattle Show
on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Welcome on back to the program. It is the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK. Zachariah filling in, as I will shamelessly plug, probably the last time, maybe not the last time, I don't know. But at Zach Sports on Twitter, ZAK Sports, trying to step that follower game up. You know what I mean? I got that blue check mark, which I don't know how, because there's tons of people that have way more thousands of followers than me that don't have the blue check mark. But I got it, so I'm official. At Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. But right now, let me waste no more time than getting to the one and only Scott Ostler on Twitter, at Scott Ostler, San Francisco columnist. And the biggest compliment that I can give you, Scott, is that my great late father, you were his favorite columnist. And my mother, when I told her that you were going to be joining me today, wanted to make sure that I made a point of that. So congratulations, Scott. You were Albert Slenderbrook's favorite columnist.
Zachariah, I appreciate that. And wherever he is, may he rest in peace and thank you.
Oh, he's probably watching. He's probably floating around. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get into sports, tell me about check out my new young adult fiction about a wheelchair basketball team bouncing back. Tell me about that. I'm just learning about it now, reading your Twitter profile.
Yeah, I actually wrote that a couple years ago. It was my first foray into fiction writing. And, so I sold a book. It's a young adult fiction book for, middle school age kids, and it's about a wheelchair basketball team. Just something I wanted to do, and I enjoyed doing it, and it turned out okay, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to tell the people to check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out myself. Let's get to some sports, shall we?
Sure. Why not? And by the way,
yeah,
it's good to hear you again, man. I've been missing you.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I missed you more than you missed me. But yeah, I'm up here in Sac, and I'm doing my best. But it's funny because I was talking with Jay, and he's the producer, and he was kind of joking that like Andre Iguodala is like lightweight, kind of stealing money from the Warriors and getting paid to like be a coach. So when I read your headline, the Warriors aren't getting what they hoped for when they signed Andre Iguodala, my first reaction was to go to Jay and be like, hey, look at this. But then they're getting way more.
Yeah.
Right, Scott Ostler. So tell me because it's kind of, similar to the Haslam situation in Miami where he's not playing a ton, but tell me exactly what you've gotten from your, time covering the Warriors in terms of the impact that he's had on the team.
Well, Iguodala has always been this way ever since he showed up 10 years ago. He's always been kind of a leader and a mentor and a elder statesman for the players. And more so now, usually when a guy gets injured, Zachariah, as you know, in any sport, it's hard for him to be a team leader because he kind of fades into the background of the players. Other players kind of, in a way, tune him out. He's not part of us anymore. He's not playing. He's not suiting up. So, but it's been the opposite with Iguodala. He's taken on more of a role, deliberately so, and he's helping out at practices. He's pulling guys aside. He's giving them tough love when they need it, especially the young guys like Kuminga. He's coaching them up during the games. He's taking a role during the games of pulling guys aside on the bench and stuff like that. And he's been from what the guys say, he's been phenomenal. It was interesting the other day. Somebody asked Looney about Iguodala, and he said, "Yeah, I remember he was like that the first day. The first thing he told me was go get some donuts." And somebody said, well, "I thought Iguodala didn't eat donuts. He's a healthy guy." And Looney said, basically, that's true. And he used to, from the time I was a rookie, he'd see me eating something in the snack room, and he'd say, "Don't eat that. That's going to hurt you, man. Don't eat that stuff." So he's like everybody's dad, in the best way. And it's.
Are we going to see him on the floor, Scott?
What's that?
Are we going to see him on the floor at all?
I think he'll probably wind up suiting up. I don't know how much he can contribute, though. But at his age and with all the breakdowns and stuff, it's hard for me to see him coming back and being physically able, with all the rust and everything else, to jump in NBA Finals and play a role, like he did way back in the day when he was the MVP of the Finals. But if he does, these guys will surprise me in a lot of ways. So if that happens, God bless him.
Let me ask you this, Scott, and I'm surprised because Jay and I put up on the poll, were you rooting for the Celtics or the Heat in Game 7? And I figured it was going to come overwhelmingly that Warriors fans would be rooting for the Heat because I think the Heat pose less of a threat than the Celtics do. Give me just kind of a general breakdown of this finals because I think both the Heat and the Celtics play great defense, but the difference between the Celtics and the Heat is that they have Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, and Zachariah, the way I look at it, maybe I'm too much of a purist or something like that, but whether you're a fan or a writer or even if you're a member of the Warriors, if you're a player, you would want to play just because of your legacy and because of your spirit and your character. You want to play the best there is out there.
Oh no, BS, Scott! I want the championship. I'd rather the team forfeit. No, I want the chip, Scott. I want a parade. I want a ring. I don't want to play the best. I want to play the worst.
Yeah, see, you want a cheap parade and a cheap ring.
Yep, absolutely.
No, to me, it's a shame that more people don't think this way. That you got to play the very best. If it's the European All-Stars, the Harlem Globetrotters, whoever the best team out there, bring them on, and we're going to show that we're going to beat them.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I was rooting. I don't root to root, but I was hoping for the best, most spectacular, most theatric finals. You want the best team.
Scott, I am old school. Like I don't believe in participation trophies, but however I can get the championship is the way that I want to get the championship. But just to ask you again,
legacy, man, legacy. You got to think of down the road when people are going to say,
yeah,
they're always going to find ways to tear you down a little bit. And, they didn't They didn't play the Celtics. And
I know, but Scott, it's the same reason why I don't care that Steph hasn't had a Finals MVP. Like, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care. He's got 3 championships. But anyway, so you're agreeing with me. The Celtics the Celtics do poise the bigger threat.
Yeah. Not only overall were the Celtics a better team than the Heat towards the end, especially since the Heat was so banged up, but just as a matchup problem for the Warriors, I think they present more of a matchup with their speed and their size. They're just the Warriors are going to run any team off the court that's not ready to run with them, and the Celtics, I think, might be ready to run with them. So it's going to be tough.
Well, I could talk to you forever, but this is going to have to be the last one, unfortunately, because of radio duties. You know how it goes. When it comes down to the finals matchup, there's a lot of people that say because the Celtics had to go through 2 Game 7s and much stiffer competition, that the Warriors are in a better spot. I'm kind of like what you were just talking about, being old school. I think more that it's like what I compared it to when my dad never let me beat him in basketball. I think because they played stiffer competition, that they're in a better spot than the Warriors. So how do you see the 2 roads that the Celtics and the Warriors took?
Yeah, not only that, but the way the Celtics did it, in the 7th game, and that's such a confidence and character building thing to have to go through a 7-game series like that, and the Warriors had an easier road because they did so well. I'm not blaming the Warriors for getting the Western Conference Finals over early, but the Celtics, and the Celtics aren't tired. I know everybody's tired this time of year, and the Celtics are somewhat beat up. A couple of their guys are semi-injured and stuff like that, but I guarantee you, man, they're ready to roll now. They're just going on pure adrenaline and fire and confidence, man. So I think they're ready to go.
On Twitter, at Scott Ostler. You can follow him, SF Chronicle columnist, and be sure, go check it out. I'm going to check it out. It sounds like a very interesting book. It's called Bouncing Back. Go check it out. It's about a young adult fiction about a wheelchair basketball team. I'm going to check it out, Scott, and I'll give you my feedback. If it stinks, I'm going to tell you.
All right. Thanks, Zach Ryan. Enjoy your cheapy ring.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Scott Ostler, he's great. He's been, I need to renew my subscription to the San Francisco Chronicle as I'm getting older and older and people are not reading newspapers. It's kind of annoying, but 916-339-1140 if you want to join the program. We're going to do like a me and Jay's own version of the word. We're going to talk boxing. I'm going to claim that Mike Tyson, while you wouldn't think it, ruined boxing. It's Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show. KHTK.
The Nick Cattle Show. Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sports 1140 KHTK. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people that play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf.
It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa.
Every week on Sports 1140 KHTK. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility, and Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hey everybody, it's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my friend Shelby and refinance with Shelby.com. Everybody, in fact, over at United Wholesale Lending. Now, Shelby and his team, they're the lender to use for purchases. I've been telling you that forever. Real estate agents, work with them because they're streamlined, they close fast, and they're local. Now, listen, you've been through this if you've been looking for a house. It's almost impossible to get your offer accepted in this market. You need to have the right mortgage company, as the right offer and the right financing can get your offer accepted. Most bad experiences with lenders stem from poor service and communication, and that happens when a lender just doesn't care. However, Shelby lives in our community. He has a reputation to uphold. There is no one more well-versed or better suited to fill your specific needs, and that's why I went with him. RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051, BRE number 018643544. RefinanceWithShelby.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
This is National Skin Cancer Awareness Month. Randy Wyant is co-founder and CEO of SkinView, a nonprofit created to promote skin cancer awareness and reach out to golfers about sun safety and how to protect your skin from harmful rays. 1 in 5 will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, so awareness is very important. SkinView came up with a new version of ABCs. A stands for asymmetrical. Does the mole or spot have an irregular shape with two parts that look different? B stands for border. Is the border smooth or does it look irregular or jagged? C is for color. Is the color uneven and contain multiple shades? D is for diameter. Is the mole or spot larger than the size of a pea or pencil eraser? E is for evolution. Has the mole or spot changed size, color, or shape during the past few weeks or month? Does the spot itch or have tenderness? Track your skin, and if you notice any changes, share them with your doctor. Learn more at sknvue.org. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Out with the hot takes and in with the smart takes.
You're a smart guy. You're my favorite talk host here because you say it how it is.
It's the Nick Cattle Show on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Welcome on back. Hopefully you are getting close to back to your house after the commute and the long weekend. It is Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show right here, KHTK. We've done a bunch of stuff. We've talked about a lot. And me and my man Jay, let me put it like this. There are some things in life that you just can't talk about. And in the commercial break, to pull the curtain back a little bit, I ran some things by Jay. And Jay, what did you tell me? Don't touch that, right?
Yeah, leave that alone.
Yeah, leave
MC
that
Hammer
alone.
that. Yeah. Go ahead, MC Hammer that.
Can't touch this. So, and I'm trying to be smart. I'm listening to my man. He's the same age as me, experienced in radio, and I'm trying to take the smart advice. So I'm not going to touch on some controversial stuff that I probably would have and got in trouble to 10 years ago. But now I'm older and mature, and I'm listening to my man. So we're not going to touch on that. But we are going to do not a full-blown word like we did with Robert Littal, but we're going to have fun with this segment. I think we've covered the finals as much as you can cover the finals. But we're going to talk about just random sports stories now. So, Jay, take it away. Tell me about, because we were talking about this before, Mike Tyson. Oh, by the way, that was my biggest mistake when you and I first worked together and I was on with Nick and you asked me about Bay rappers.
Yep.
I didn't say Mac Dre.
Oh, it was all right.
No, I got crushed.
But that's guaranteed to be.
I got crushed, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're like...
The fans were smacking you around, brother?
I said the obvious ones are too short and E40, but Mac Dre, oh, my... I can't believe I didn't say him. You
don't have to say Mac Dre.
I had nightmare... Okay, I like what you're doing. You're getting my back. You're defending me saying, like, that was already implied.
Yeah, like the three. There's certain cats when it comes to Bay Area rap or Northern California rap or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, look, okay. Uncle 40 is Uncle 40.
Yep.
Uncle Short is Uncle Short.
Yep.
Dre is Dre.
Yep.
Right? Like there's certain guys we don't even have to talk about.
Well, you're backing me out. I just want to let you know.
Everybody likes Dre.
I got destroyed.
Have you ever met a person that's from Northern California, and I'll go from Stockton on up, that's like, no, I don't like Mac Dre.
No, but they were just mad at me that I didn't bring them up. But anyway,
who are these people? Who is they?
Just my friends. They wanted me to say, like when I said Short and 40, they were like, you left out Mac Dre, and I was like, of course Dre. Anyways, doesn't matter.
It ain't your friends.
So we were talking about boxing, and I told you, you're a boxing guy. Apparently.
Yeah, love boxing.
I just learned that.
Love
about
boxing.
You. We're getting to know each other.
Yes.
And I told you Mike Tyson ruined boxing for me.
Yes.
And you were like, how so? And I said, because when I was a kid, I had a friend whose dad got every pay-per-view Mike Tyson fight. And I watched it religiously. And by the way, he came out to Tupac, and he also died after a Tyson fight. That's a sad story. Yeah. But my point is, because I liked him so much, and he was appointment viewing, there hasn't been really a lot of people that have made me want to make sure that I catch a fight. But you wanted to talk about the fight over this weekend.
Yeah, Gervonta Davis Tank, who is fighting under Mayweather Promotions. And we'll see if he, after this fight, he's a free agent according to him. There's been some rumors. After the press conference, he said, hey, it's still Mayweather Promotions, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, he had a fight with Rolly Romero, who's
knocked
also
him out, right?
6th round.
Yep.
Hit him on a left hook / jab / something. But I get what you're saying. And the reason why I had asked you about that is because from Tyson, we kind of went over. There's only been about 4 to 5 guys that have been must-watch boxing, right? Canelo,
Money
Pacquiao,
Mayweather.
Money May, Roy Jones. And really beyond that, it's kind of like, do you, and Canelo, or Oscar De La Hoya, do you really like anyone else in between there, right? Like, those are mega stars in boxing that have crossed over. And so the question to you was, which I didn't know you didn't watch the fight, but Tank they're trying to push Tank to this level to where he's going to be a star. And what's interesting to me is, and I said this to you to peel back the curtain, they had Tank fight in Los Angeles, I want to say in last June on a Sunday. And I couldn't remember a fight that was a pay-per-view fight that was on a Sunday.
Never.
And he
Either
sold out.
Friday
He
or
did
Saturday
well.
night.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that this guy goes to Barclays. He's from Baltimore. He sells out 18,000, right? And he's fighting Rolly Romero, who's 14-0 at the time.
Well, it is a holiday weekend.
I get it.
And there's
It's
no
New
football.
York, Barclays, no football. But, I mean, he's sold out in Vegas. He's Mayweather's protege, so to say. Mayweather's put a lot of time, effort, and money. Leonard Ellerbe, who's Mayweather Promotions guy, the CEO, president, excuse me. It's interesting to see where they're pushing him to. And what would it take for a person like you, who has been kind of scorned from boxing, to come back to boxing in some form or fashion? Does it take a superstar like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Canelo, De La Hoya, Trinidad, those type of guys?
I mean, just to be fully honest with you, since Tyson, the only times I can remember appointment boxing being a thing for me was Pacquiao Mayweather, which was a joke because Mayweather waited till even though Pacquiao
He would have smoked Pacquiao.
Well, I know, but
earlier.
Pacquiao kind of. Well, he kind of bounced back, but I mean, you know how Mayweather does. He does.
Does it on his own time.
That was appointment viewing, and then Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Like I think like Wilder Fury. I think it takes like heavyweights because you know more about boxing than me. Was Tyson, even though he wasn't as big and weighed as much as Fury and Wilder, was he a heavyweight?
Yes, he was a
Or how did
heavyweight.
he fight?
Yeah,
Okay,
he was a heavyweight.
So
So
I think
anything
you
over
need
200 pounds is a
Yeah,
heavyweight.
I think you need a heavyweight guy.
And I agree. I think and Wilder was pretty close. The problem is there aren't a lot of American heavyweights that have big names that people care about. And that was kind of the issue with Wilder is he was really, he was United States heavyweight. He was the guy. He was worldwide. He was knocking guys out. He was entertaining. He, get on the mic and talk. There's memes about him to this day, right? And so that's the thing I think that captivated a lot of people. Now he lost, but he hasn't, Tyson Fury is a guy that's not from here. Right. And that's been the problem with heavyweights, or most of the guys that have been good, the Klitschko's, we have Andy Ruiz who beat Joshua.
You're saying being from the United States means a lot? Like Tyson was a New York guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it comes to heavyweight.
All right, well, let's have fun now. That's enough hardcore boxing breakdown.
Yeah, did you see who was on? Come on. I was getting ready to say.
Madonna and Tory Lanez. And I'm so old that I have no idea who that is.
Man, we're gonna have to we're gonna lace your tennis shoes, brother.
Sparked dating rumors after they were captured sitting ringside for Davis versus Romero fight. Now I have no idea who Tory Lanez is, but
R&B rap artist from Toronto.
Is he good?
Yeah, top of the line. Man.
Okay, but I wanted to talk about Madonna on Friday because the rumors came out that Dennis Rodman said that she offered him like $20 million to have his baby.
How old is right now? Guess Madonna's age.
Oof. Oh, this will be interesting. I got to set an over-under. She's got to be up there, man. I mean, Like a Virgin came out when I was born.
What you got?
I'm damn near 40. I'm gonna say 58.
63.
Oh, my. And she's got a young
Tory
rapper.
Lanez. Just give me, I know you don't know him, but throw out an age. Throw out an age.
Oh, 26.
29.
You know what? Good for her. Good for her. Usually it's like the older guys that get the younger girls. Good for her still doing her thing.
Man, she was at the fight with the fan, fanning the face, covering the face.
I got a picture of them right now. They're damn near like ringside.
Yes.
Good for her.
I mean,
go get yours.
63 years old, 29, half your age.
Hey,
And you spun off a Dennis Rodman story last week. She's back in the news, man. Is she not back in the news right now?
She's doing her thing. What a wonderful way to end it. It's been Zachariah filling in for the Nick Cattle Show. 1 minute. All right. Well, then we can talk about other stuff. Yeah, I mean,
I like the Madonna conversation myself.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, she clearly has been in the news on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like, she's been how many different people is she connected to? I mean, Rodman was probably the most famous. I think Rodman left a series in the middle of it to go be with her at a nightclub or something like that. But she's been tied into a lot of people, and now she's got a sub-30s guy. Good for her.
Listen, let me tell you. Shouts out to Madonna getting it how she lives.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Can't be mad at that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's like the equivalent of you jumping with Madonna right now. You're winning, but she's winning too.
That's
You're both
true.
winning at the same time.
That's true. It's a mutual beneficial relationship. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I would not have guessed. You said 62? 63. Yeah, good for her. Still getting after it. That's motivation for all you people out there.
30.
You listen well. It's never too late. You're never too old. And yeah, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. Dating rumors. See how far it goes. I'm guessing she can't have a baby anymore, but yeah, we'll go from there. Well, yeah, that was a fun way to wrap it up right here on KHTK. Again, it's been Zachariah filling in on the Nick Cattle Show.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major